The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Feel Good Friday, November 5th, 2021 years into years being counted. This show begins now. Yeah. Boys are here. Talks the table at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. Well, Ty Schmidt's wearing a Max Player 3/4 zip.
Go Max.
Hey, that's the horse that's running tomorrow.
Here we go, boys.
That not only TVG Mike talked about, but also there's somebody in this building that has ownership shares of Max Player. That horse is going to run a good race tomorrow.
Oh, hell yeah. He said peaking right at the right time. Mile and a quarter, never looked better.
Oh, my God. And 20-1 odds or something like that on the FanDuel Racing app for your first bet. Gameen.
Yeah.
Of course. Gameen's good.
At Boston Connor. Tone Diggs is there. And I appreciate you all for being here, whether you're listening on Sirius or watching at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Today's going to be a massive day.
Yeah.
All right? Today's a big day.
Huge.
There's going to be a lot of things that are talked about during today's show that are probably going to be talked about for our show forever. Mm-hmm. There's going to be people that have never listened to our show ever that are going to be introduced to us today, I do believe. And it's not because we have J.J. Redick on the show.
Whoa.
J.J. Redick. Hey, baseball. Basketball? What? Sports?
What?
Sports?
What?
Sports?
What?
Give me a cricket player.
What?
Maybe even hurling.
What?
Need an Aussie Rules football player.
What?
We're not going to do all that, but we are dabbling into fellow podcast world.
Okay.
Yeah.
J.J. Redick recently retired to the NBA after a hell of a run, but that is not what I was referring to when I was saying, hey, there's going to be people that are going to be introduced to the Tank Top Stooge and the Sports Stooges today because of something that's going to happen. It's not because Jabron Ariel Helwani.
Oh, come on.
Fucking A.
There's a big fight. There's a big couple fights tomorrow.
That's right.
Hey, and Usman Covington.
Usman.
And they pushed each other, and Dana White, ah! That's
Yeah.
actually what he did. Ah! It was awesome. Dana White was ready to fucking go. It wasn't fucking Friday, but it was close. He almost said fuck it out there. It's not because Helwani's coming back to tell us what we should be looking forward to tomorrow. Ariel Helwani, the independent journalist who works for 10 people.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of independent, not really.
Kind of goes against us Mondays and Wednesdays on networks, YouTube.
Klein.
But always be a friend of the show.
Of course.
Enjoy talking to him. And he's got a big brain.
Sure.
So whenever he tells us stuff, we at least feel a little bit smart. It's not because Ariel Helwani is on today's show that people are going to talk about. It's not because Coach JB will be back after the full technological breakdown we had last week when we were all in costumes and the universe said, hey, don't ever fucking do this again. In every camera, bro. It's not because of that. And sadly, it's not because an official announcement is about to be made. This is not the reason our show will be introduced to people that have never watched or listened before, but this is something that will be chatted about for a long time in this particular business's history. After what occurred last evening, I have no other option because I enjoy my life.
Yeah.
I like to have fun with my life.
Me too.
I hate feeling bad in my life.
Right.
Yes.
That hatred for feeling bad leads me to do a lot of things so that I don't have to feel bad. Whether that makes me a better person whenever I'm in public and I go take a leak somewhere, and I'm definitely going to go wash my hands for the entire 20 seconds because I don't want this person to talk shit and make my parents look like they're a bunch of barn animals and they raised, even though I potentially want to get out of here just like everybody else and drop the old hit. Like, this is a lot of the things I do is because I don't want to make anybody or feel anything like that. So this is probably a decision that a lot of people who have known me through my years saw coming. effective immediately. I am putting an end to the risk-free same-game parlay Thursday Night Football Thursday situation.
What?
Yep. Have to do it.
Forever?
Needed to be done.
Need to do it.
I fucking love the NFL season.
Me too.
I love it. Everybody knows I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't really know anything about anything else, to be honest.
True.
It's kind of sad. Have a sports show. Talked to Dansby Swanson yesterday. I didn't know that guy existed. He's fucking awesome. Number 1 overall pick. Should have probably known that guy existed at some point. Legend, stallion, big brain. I had no idea. I love the NFL. Have always loved the NFL. And especially now, with what our show is and has become and how fortunate I am to be here, when those off seasons are happening, all I look forward to is NFL season.
That's right.
That's oh my God, it's right around the corner. How many months? 3 months? Woo! That's nothing. Remember, we're saying that.
Oh, yeah.
We are saying it's 3-4 months. Oh, it's right around the corner.
That's it.
Hey, we're at the draft. We're at the combine. We're at the draft. OTAs. Training camp's like 6 weeks out.
Yeah.
It's like, literally everything is shaped towards there's an NFL season around the corner. I can't wait for it. And I've been enjoying this, especially after everything we've been through. As a world, as a society, fans back in stadiums. It is amazing. It's majestic. It's even more awesome than I could have ever fathomed because there was a moment where everything was taken from us. So you have to take real joy in the things that you once loved a little bit more, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Then these Thursday nights start coming around.
Oh, man.
Okay? In the risk-free same-game parlay, every Thursday night was potentially my idea. This is what I would like to do. Okay? You guys love same-game parlay. Your tech at FanDuel is amazing for the same-game parlay. They add in the popular same-game parlays. I have an idea. I'd like to put in a parlay every single week, but I would like our people to not worry about it losing. I would like them to come on in and do the, potentially win 150 one week, 140
another.
Last night was 110, I think, or 106 off of a $10 risk-free bet. Now, you had to opt in, and there was an agreement on what the odds could be between, and the odds had to stay at this certain odds even after everybody gets it, even after 44,000 people are on it. These odds have to remain this high. It has to be this many legs. So this was a real, this is a real conversation between FanDuel and I about how we go about accomplishing this.
Oh, yeah.
And I was pumped for it. Just like the rest of the NFL season, I was fucking pumped for it. And we first got a couple tastes of the risk-free same-game parlay, and I feel like we were crafting same-game parlays into a better fashion of, we need this same-game parlay to last, okay? So it can't be anything that we put in there that potentially ends in the first quarter from one play,
Yes.
okay? Can't have any running backs under.
Right.
Can't have anything like that because one missed block or one, instead of going to this gap, just one person going to this gap, and that's fucking out the gate. Same game parlay's dead.
Yep.
So you have to whittle it down. Okay, what's still alive? What can we, in baseball, I guess, big baseball show, talk to old Dano.
Dansby.
Series champ, Dansby. Talked to him yesterday, but when you're adding that bat and you're fouling balls away, I guess that happens.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it happen in one of the baseball games I watched this year, so it was either in that fucking farm field or one of the big ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was like a 15 pitch or something like that. Like that's what we need, a same game parlay to continue to live. Like
stay alive.
It has to be a survivor. It had to be tough. It had to have an opportunity to hit at any given moment. And I'll tell you what, we were fucking really close.
Yep.
Heartbreakingly close. Yep. Tom Brady. Beep, 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 beep. Backing the fuck up on his kneel downs after hitting the over on his rushing yards, which was 1.5 yards.
God, Tom.
And he had 3 yards. Then he takes 2 kneel downs at the end. It goes down to 1 yard. But then his third kneel down, he goes back to the line of scrimmage because he wanted to have at least 1 yard. But he didn't need to have 1.5 yard, did he? No. Heartbreaking. That would have cost FanDuel like $9 million or something like that.
Damn it.
Then we had a bad night. We've had a couple bad nights. But I think normally the same game parlay was on the right through. And then last night we were in the building. We knew Jonathan Taylor was going to have a big evening. Jonathan Taylor is a superstar.
Yeah.
Beast.
Jonathan Taylor was sharing the ball last year in a crowded backfield with very talented players. Wilkins, Nyheim Hines, Marlon Mack, Jonathan Taylor. There was a loaded backfield last year. Then towards the end of the season, it felt like 28 was starting to get the ball more. And I think everybody that was a Colts fan was like, oh. So this guy at Wisconsin that we seen down here at Lucas Oil Stadium whenever he was here every fucking year basically for the Big Ten championship, and he's just an absolute superstar, got accepted into Harvard. This guy, his game's going to transition into the NFL. Now, this is the men's league, so you never know what's going to happen. Couple big hits. You don't know how everybody's going to be able to handle it. Jonathan Taylor, AFC Offensive Player of the Month for a team that was below 500. So that is saying something. Absolutely dominated last night. We knew it. We knew it.
Yep.
2 tuds.
Easy.
Picked that up early. Mm-hmm. Colts -5.5. I mean, we could have went bigger, I guess, in hindsight. But we didn't know what Mike White was going to do. Let me tell you what Mike White did. He had like 4 or 5 completions for 96 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
First play of the game. They kick off literally right where we're sitting. Shout out to Robert Mathis for those seats. Gridiron Gang. That's his camps he's running, where they are providing next level training for people that would have never expected to have that type of thing. Shout out to the Gridiron Gang. We're a part of it. We have contributed to it, and I'm very lucky for that. But those tickets were amazing. So we literally got to see right on the field basically what was going on. That first play when Magic Mike White Lightning took that ball, pulled that thing, went back this way, and then threw across his body. It was 23 yards in front of us, maybe.
Yeah.
He looked so smooth. Mm-hmm. It looked like he was very comfortable, very confident. The ball came out perfect trajectory, perfect spin, completion. And I was literally like, oh no. Okay, so this guy's a fucking player. Then all of a sudden, forearm injury, he's out. I'm like, okay, the -5.5 is going to be good. The Colts start pulling away. But then the Jets start knocking a little bit. Josh Johnson, who's played in every single professional football league that there is, throws for like 500 yards and 3 touchdowns or something. What the fuck's going on there? It never felt like the 5.5 wasn't safe. It never probably felt like the 10.5 wasn't safe. But man, as the Jets kept scoring and Carson Wentz kept putting his helmet on and going back on the field, we knew that 225 plus for that son of a bitch was no problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Easy.
Getting a chance to see him on the field, by the way, he walks as if he just got off a horse. I mean, he is a big, lumbering, he's a fucking massive guy.
Galvin.
Huge.
He is massive. And he just walks, it really looks like he has no idea. He had 4 different injuries, I think, last night. You guys probably didn't know about it. I don't know if you saw it on TV. He'd be in between plays, and he'd be like holding his ribs.
He get hit in
the nuts, I think. Yeah, I think he had that a couple times. And then every once in a while, you'll see him like shake something off. And then he tried, whenever they had Jonathan Taylor take the direct snap, I don't know if they showed Carson Wentz. He tried to chop block. He tried to go get it. He put his head in front of a guy. It's like, okay, this guy's a football player. He's large. He's going to do his thing. 225 plus, no problem. Michael Pittman Jr., I think he's 4th in the NFL right now, or Carson Wentz and Michael Pittman Jr. right now is a tandem. Are 4th in the NFL right now as tandems.
Damn.
Yeah. We showed that on NFL Kickoff, whatever, Joe Thomas and them.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, and Steve Smith, who is a savage.
Doesn't care.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Hey, look, where's the camera? Hey, this is because of you, dude. You fucking stink. That was insane. They showed it, though. 4th in the NFL as a tandem. No T.Y. Hilton. They're going to get going. And guess what? He had it. He was out the gate. From my view, I saw his back and I saw daylight.
Yeah.
And I was about to jump up on the thing that we were standing on and lose my fucking mind because the same game parlay would have hit in Lucas Oil Stadium at the same damn time I'm in Lucas Oil Stadium. We were actually setting up flights, and next game's in Miami, Baltimore, Miami. We're actually setting up, hey, we're going to go to every fucking one when this hits. And then all of a sudden, tick, 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 tick. Carson misses Michael Pittman on one. There's 2 guys in the same area. Who ran the wrong route? Who cares? All I know is Michael Pittman did not catch the fucking ball 6 yards short. He's still a stud. Same game parlay, officially risk-free. Same game parlay, Thursday Night Football Thursday. Officially dead. Moment of silence before we get to our guest, please. Thank you, same game parlay.
Thank you. Risk-free, same game parlay, Thursday Night Football Thursdays.
You were exhilarating.
Yeah.
You were heartbreaking. You made me laugh. You made me smile. But more importantly, You made me cry a lot.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's why you're fucking dead, dude. Never to see you again.
See
And
ya.
I'm sorry to everybody that lost those risk-free bets. I wish we would have been able to make those dollars back. Now we got to go back to the think tank and come up with some other way to beat FanDuel so we can all make money.
Yeah.
Once again, let's remember, FanDuel does not own us. We are trying to take more of their money, just like everybody else. Joining us now is a man who had his retirement sponsored, which legendary move.
Yeah.
Genius move. Shout out to Cuz. Legend at Duke. Been around the NBA. Absolute sharpshooter superstar. Incredible podcast host. Ladies and gentlemen, JJ Redick.
Yay!
What's up, dude?
What's up? I'm trying to figure out how my podcast was, or my retirement was sponsored. How do you figure that?
Well, I think, wasn't it like you read an ad read, didn't you? And then you retired. Wasn't it right there on, didn't you do that? Didn't you do that?
No. I read my retirement speech on the podcast. The podcast does have a sponsor, Cash App. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, but when I watched the video, I remember thinking to myself.
There's a little bit of a jump there, is all I'm saying, Pat.
No, I don't think so.
Make it a jump.
I'll go back and watch the video and see what I was thinking. Because when I watched it, I literally thought, this guy's a fucking genius. This guy is a genius. It's been amazing, though, to kind of watch your career. Because I'm at the age that I was kind of in college, same time. You're a little bit older when you were at Duke. And the phenomenon, this guy never misses free throws. He just lights it up from the three-point line. Then there was all these magical stories about what you were doing off the court. And nobody had a clue what was going to be able to happen in the NBA. And you've just dominated. You absolutely took over. You never missed the playoffs. The game translated well. I'm incredibly happy for you as a fan that has watched on for a long time. And I assume your podcast is going to be unbelievable as well here as you dive full-time into it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we're definitely leaning towards basically a full-time media role here with the podcast. I just signed up to do ESPN. I am very, very curious about the magical stories off the court in college that you referenced. Because I'm like, what did people hear about me? My first 2 years, I was a wild man.
Yes,
I was
sir.
a wild man.
Yeah. Living?
What's up?
Living, yeah, pretty good. Living pretty hard.
Oh, great living. Hard living. Lots of biscuits and gravy at 4 a.m.
Yeah, those are good. And I think those are potentially where a lot of the stories came from that filtered into like West Virginia, and other places where I was. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, they were saying you were dating like A-list superstars because you were the guy. Duke was on national television every single night.
Yep.
And you were this guy who was just flying around. And now you're saying you're eating B's and G's at 4 a.m. You're living the good life. I heard you dated every human in Hollywood that I saw on TMZ. I heard you were out every single night and still lighting up the hoop. These are the legendary stories I heard. And I don't know if those are true or not, and you can allude to more if you'd like to.
I'll just say some of that is true. Some of that is true. Most of what you just said is true. I did, in terms of the partying, that's more in reference to my first 2 years, my freshman year and my sophomore year. I was very sheltered as a child and even as a teenager growing up. And so when I got to Duke and my buddies that were not basketball players would tell me they were going to a frat party on a Wednesday night, I'm like, we can go out on a Wednesday? That's cool. And Wednesday turned into Thursday, and before you knew it, it was Wednesday again,
Yeah. And you somehow still managed to just drain threes through all that? Did it affect you at all? And was there a moment that you were like, you know what, I should probably focus on basketball? For instance, I had a moment, and I used to go, just like you, I didn't have to do anywhere near as much as the shit you had to do on the court or in your life, basically. It was just kicking and punting or whatever. But I went out a lot. And then there was like one time where I had a nice conversation, potentially on a fungus that grows with my friends in there. And we just decided we were going to flip the switch. And I was like, I'm not going out anymore. I just kind of like, I'm going to focus on football. Did you have any of that? Did you have a moment that happened? You were like, all right, I should probably focus more on basketball a little bit. Did Coach K say, hey, what are you doing? Is that what he said?
Oh, yeah. But I needed to be in the right frame of mind to hear it. So my entire sophomore year, I behaved, as I mentioned, as a frat kid. I was third-team All-American that year. I was our leading scorer. We made the Final Four. On the surface, it appeared things were well, but I was about 25 pounds overweight. I was missing class. I think that semester I had 2 Ds and an I. I had an I, which is hard to get. It's hard to get.
Yeah, that's deep down there in the alphabet. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they brought me into the office the first week of summer school. I was not enrolled in summer school. I had told my parents I was finishing up that incomplete at Duke, and I had told Duke that I was back home in Roanoke finishing up the incomplete, which in reality I was just crashing at a buddy's apartment off campus. And I would get up every day, probably around 2 p.m. I'd go get a burrito at Cosmic Cantina, and then I would watch movies for about 4 or 5 hours, and then I'd party. And then I just repeat that for a couple of weeks. They tracked me down. They took me to Coach K's office, and they gave me a stern talking to. And at that point, I was ready to hear it. And from that point on, that summer set the stage for the rest of my career. I would not have played 15 years in the NBA if it wasn't for that summer. I learned how to be a professional that summer, where your day is regimented to the hour. You're doing study hall, you're doing class, you're doing weights, you're doing running, you're doing court work, you're eating right, you're going to bed by 10 p.m. I did that all summer. The next year I was National Player of the Year. So that set the table for my whole thing. But yeah, I was in a bad place when they found me.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to harp on that too much. And obviously, it's nice whenever you change your life and change your lifestyle and have that breakthrough moment, and then you see results like being the National Player of the Year. It's probably like, oh shit, okay, this is good news. You know, there wasn't any doubt in that. Let's go back to when you were sleeping on couches though till 2 p.m. and then eating a burrito at where Cosmic Burrito. Is that what you said?
Cosmic Cantina, yeah. Hey, Cosmic Cantina, great spot.
They got great fucking burritos. Cosmic Cantina and doing it. You think about quitting that? Were you done with basketball, you think? Is that why you were doing that, or you just needed time for yourself to figure life out? And how do you think that, is that what you were doing?
It was actually 6 months prior, in December, I had called my twin sisters. They live in Raleigh. They still do. I'd call them over. I said, I need you guys to come over to campus. They met me at some chicken place on campus. I can't remember the name of the place.
Chicken
I think
Cantina.
It's still there. Yeah. Great chicken sandwiches. But they met me there for dinner, and I told them, I want to quit. I don't think this is for me. Legitimately, I think these words came out of my mouth. I just want to be a normal person and write poetry. Think about that.
Normal.
Think about that.
It's very normal. Yeah, it's actually kind of poetic. It's pretty. Yeah. That's amazing.
Very weird. Very weird. So it had been brewing for a while. You have to understand something. Let's go back basically 20 years. Actually, let's go back 30 years. All I want to do is play at Duke. I spend 10 years working, training, dreaming. It happens. I get to Duke. And every fucking person in the country that's not a Duke fan hates my guts.
Yeah. Quickly.
And I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. And as your ego structure as an 18-year-old is still developing, I did not have a healthy enough ego to deal with that. And so I just was constantly looking to escape and cut corners and make excuses. And luckily my sisters talked me out of it, but I still had to go through that whole thing my sophomore year. It sucked.
Yeah, and hey, by the way, shout out to you for, I don't know how often you've told this story, and once again, I'm not as good of a host as you, so this is probably some research I could have found out all of this stuff, but I mean, sometimes when you get to the top of the mountain, the view isn't as good as you thought it was going to be. That can be quite a letdown. I'm happy that you were able to turn that around and, I feel like you enjoyed the hate there towards the end of it. Yeah, you had to have. I mean, people hated you just because you were Duke, you were J.J. Redick, you were dating all these A-listers, you were partying, and you never missed a fucking free throw.
Good.
Wow. I mean, you just buy into that. And then did you hear what everybody said going to the NBA? Like, this dude ain't going to be able to transition from college game to the NBA. He can't create his own shot and all that stuff. Is that stuff that you heard? And how did you kind of battle through that? And what did you do in preparation for the NBA? And how's your game changed?
Well, I certainly heard it. It's hard. It's unavoidable, especially when you're 21 and you're checking NBADraft.net every day to see where you're projected to go.
How much money?
And then I'd go talk to teams in between my senior year and the draft, and they would tell me all my weaknesses. And I always felt though that I had a realistic sort of approach of who I was as a player. And I always said, if I can maximize who I am as a player, which is an elite shooter, someone who's better conditioned than anyone on the court, someone who competes every night, I think that's an underrated skill. I like to call it competitive stamina. being able to sustain your competitive spirit night to night, game to game, season to season. I was able to do that for 15 years. That's a skill that not everybody has.
Concur. I concur.
And so I kind of bought in, especially early on in my career when it didn't go well. I just sort of doubled down on that. I'm a competitor. I can really shoot the basketball. I know I have some weaknesses. Let me work on those. So what I did was I got stronger. I got in even better shape. I studied film. I learned every nuance of NBA defensive concepts there was, and I decided I've got to be perfect on that end. I may not be able to stay in front of every guy or contest LeBron James shots, but all of the game plan stuff, I got to be perfect.
Hey, your form though also. I mean, I mean, you shuffled like a son of a bitch. I don't know if you slapped the wood every single time, but I would love to see you right now go play pickup games at like an LA Fitness, you know, and some young like 18-year-old kid has no idea what a JJ Redick is somehow, and you just kind of get picked last on the thing, and then it's just like, nope, you're not scoring. You're not scoring. See, that's the difference though, I think. You know, everybody obviously on the offensive side, I assume you're going to be able to shoot forever. I mean, they say shooters can shoot forever. But on the defensive side, like that is where people showcase how dominant they are. I think personally, as an athlete, like I wasn't that great of a basketball player. I'll go play in LA Fitness though. I will shut a motherfucker down. Like I'm nowhere near as good of basketball as you are. So I think you buying into the D in 3 concept was a smart one. And then 15 years later, the competitive stamina you speak about, how do you try to like give that to other players? Because it felt like you were almost becoming a mentor, right? I don't know enough in that whole thing. And then down to Pelicans.
Yeah. Oh boy. I embraced that role, and so there was a few things.
Get Zion out of there, by the way. Jeez. Anyways, go on.
I'm staying out of that one.
Yeah, smart. I could say that.
I'm staying out of that one.
Yeah, your words.
No, I embrace the role of being a mentor. I think the competitive spirit thing is huge. I think having a routine is big too. That was something that I tried to instill in all the young guys that I came across towards the end of my career. I developed this amazing routine. Again, it started probably when I was at Duke in between my sophomore and junior year. But your confidence, your ability to bounce back from bad shooting nights or a losing streak, it all comes from that routine and that really what gives you that sense of normalcy. Pat, I just want to tell one quick story. I've told this a couple times publicly, but I just love this story so much when you talk about the LA Fitness thing. So I think it was my junior year at Duke. I was dating a girl from Minneapolis. We dated a little bit my senior year as well. So the summer between my junior and senior year, I went up to stay with her family in Edina, Minnesota, and we went to her local LA Fitness or whatever it was at the time. And her brother's rebounding me for like an hour. And there's a dude on the side. He keeps watching. He's my age. He keeps watching me shoot. I finish up my shooting workout. I get done. He comes over to me and he says, "Hey, man, I played D2 at, I don't know, Pembroke State. I don't know the school. But he's like, I played D2. He's like, I know you can shoot the ball, but I don't think you can take me off the dribble."
There it is.
And I said, "Okay, what are we doing here?" And he said, "We'll play make it, take it to 11. And I said, "Great." I beat that motherfucker 11-0 into the ball, and all I did was drive past him. I don't think I shot a jump shot.
Hey, how good did that feel? That had to feel so good. I think I've met like 6 or 7 of you, like in my past. You know, like throughout football, there's only a couple people that are built the way you're built. Instead of, you know, having that moment where you're an actual student and a human having a good time, flipping a switch, remembering who you are, going on a run, and then feeling that you do have to prove yourself to everybody, basically. Like, I love that. And the ability to continue and sustain doing that is a differentiator. And I think every sport's looking for it. So, were you a football player? I mean, everybody in basketball that's like a point guard or athletic, they always say, especially out of Duke, who's that? Greg Paulson.
Greg Paulson, yeah.
Sling it.
Yeah, hey, this guy, he number 1 overall pick as quarterback, too. He went to Syracuse through like 10 picks or something like that. But, like, did you play football as well? You can't say anything about that, but I can. Did you play football as well or no?
No, I didn't play football. My parents wouldn't let me. I was so skinny as a kid. They just would not let me play football. And then one year, beginning of 8th grade, they were like, "You can play football this year." So I'm getting ready. I'm like a month away from August training camp, 2 weeks before school starts, and I broke my wrist. And then I got my cast off, and a week later I broke my other wrist. So football was out after that. And I had broken playing basketball. So football was done after that. I played baseball, though, and I like to joke, Pat. I had a cannon, and there's a good chance I would have been a big league pitcher.
Yeah.
There's a good chance. There's
Ace.
a good chance.
Probably would have been an ace, by the way, especially with your mentality and mindset. I assume you would have been in there just every day, all day. How many Tommy Johns can you get that you broke both your wrists? You're a basketball player. That seems like that's... JJ, you're an interesting guy, man. The Old Man in the Three, is that weekly? How often do we put that out?
The Old Man of the Three podcast, we put it out weekly. We have a bunch of bonus episodes. I think in year one, we put out 65 episodes, so do the math there, a little over one a week. We do a bunch of different guests, NBA guys, politicians, entertainers. We just had Gabrielle Union on. This past week, we had Kyle Korver on. PJ Tucker was the week before. We do a bunch of different things on the show. We had a leadership series last year that was super fun. Bob Iger came on. So it's been a lot of fun to sort of build out that show in this space.
I only in talking to you here for like 15 minutes, I assume that show is unbelievable. I can't wait to check it out. You speak of Kyle Korver. Do you, him, Mike, who else? Ray, Steph,
Seth Curry.
do you guys ever just have your own meeting away from cameras and just figure it out who's the best fucking shooter out here? Do you guys ever do that or no? Has there ever been a thought of that? And who do you think is the best shooter right now? Ever.
All right. Well,
Kevin Durant
so to answer your question, nothing formal away from the cameras, but like any industry and any craft, you're competitive against your peers, but you also learn stuff from them. So there's a bunch of guys, whether it's Kyle, Clay, that I've either taken stuff from through film or taken stuff from directly, having conversations with them. But look, Steph Curry's the best shooter of all time. It's not even close. Okay. It's not even close.
All right.
And give flowers to Ray and Reggie and Klay Thompson and Kyle. Those are probably my other four guys that are in the top five ever. But it's Steph, and then there's a rung of those four guys below him.
Hey, I concur. His shoe game's getting much better too. Those first couple editions, those were grass cutters.
Yeah.
The nursing shoes. Remember the shoes that came out that looked like nursing shoes?
Oh yeah.
You got killed for those.
Yeah, but he has since. By the way, if you can make shots in those, I mean, you're a fucking guy. I think that should even be added in there as maybe an asterisk. Also shot in grass cutters. Go ahead, Todd.
JJ, after Coach K leaves, do you think Duke is established enough now where like they're always going to be good, or is it possible that they have a couple, dark years here, like now that he is, not in the equation anymore?
That's a great question. I'm very confident in Jon Scheyer. One thing he has proven is that he can recruit, and to be a good college basketball team, you need good players. And I think he's going to continue to get good players in the same way that UNC had to transition away from Dean Smith. I think that's probably the most similar scenario here, where maybe there's a few years, and hopefully it's John for the next 40, but there might be a few years where it's a little bit different. But the brand that Coach K has built at Duke University, I think will last as long as college basketball lasts, in whatever form college basketball is in, because we all know it's probably going to change a little bit over the next 5 to 10 years with NIL stuff and conference realignment, but the brand Coach has built will last forever.
What's interesting is I don't know much about college basketball aside from the money that I've lost betting on college basketball games. Here in Indiana, Bob Knight, that era of basketball is still the standard that a lot of the Indiana fans judge the modern basketball to. So, and that's why I think Indiana is such a basketball state, is because they legit love fundamentals. They love the grit and the grind, go ahead and run this thing. They love the intensity, and that's how they judge, I think, because of how great that run was on the court for Bob Knight. I assume that's what it's going to be for Duke forever. It is going to be hey, this is what the expectation is for everybody, and you got to get here or get off the ship. It's just, what do you think about the high school kids getting paid now and maybe these agencies starting leagues? Do you think that's going to affect college basketball at all, as much as I think it's going to?
I think it'll actually be better for college basketball, to be honest with you. I think the one and done of the last 15 years, this era has completely tarnished and hurt the college basketball product. So the idea that kids now have optionality, whether it's Overtime Elite, the G League Ignite, of course, going overseas is an option, but I don't think that's going to be necessary anymore because they can find payment and a market here in the United States. Maybe they stick around college longer. Maybe we end up with a team like Duke or Kentucky having an older team one year. so much of this parity and this up and down with college basketball the last 15 years is because most of the blue blood programs are getting kids for 1 year and they're out. And there's really not a lot to learn in 1 year. It's tough. It took me 4 to figure it out, or maybe 3. Two and a half to 3. But it took me a while to figure it out. And I had all the pedigree coming out of high school, and it took me a while to figure it out. And I think if kids can stick around for one or two more years than just their freshman year, it'll help college basketball. And if they're getting paid, they have a reason to.
Yeah, and if you don't get a good class, like the blue blood program could be, you're done. Just one class potentially is all you need in this modern, because if you get who's that team over Gonzaga?
Yep.
Right. The Gonzaga has like the old school mentality. It feels like at this point. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, JJ. Let's say it's mid-April and LeBron and KD they both call you, and maybe the Nets and the Lakers need a shooter. Is there a chance you're taking one more shot at it, or what?
You know what's funny? My wife and I were talking about this last night, and she's like, I don't think you're really retired. Listen, I can say this. What's the Mike Tomlin thing he went on the other day?
There's
never say never, but I can say never. That's me. Like, the only time I will play basketball is if it's with my 2 sons. I'm done playing.
You're not going to let them win,
and I'm happy. I'm very happy.
You're not going to let your kids win either, huh? No way.
Never.
Yeah.
Never. We play full. We have this sort of a caged outdoor soccer court out on Long Island in the park next to our house, and I take them out there. We play full court soccer. Kai, my youngest, is always the goalie. Knox has to score on me. I never let them beat me. Never.
Like that kid at Pembroke State, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you're going to get it just like this kid at the YMCA in Minnesota. Go ahead, Diggs.
JJ, you obviously played with Ben Simmons, so there's no one better to ask about the situation that's going on with Philadelphia right now. What's your takeaway for right now with Ben Simmons and the Sixers?
I'd like to see Ben playing. That's just me as a basketball fan, because I think he brings so many amazing things to the table, and I would love to see Philly win a championship, and I don't know that they can win a championship without him. I also think Ben is not blameless in this, and the Philly organization is not blameless in this. It's a huge mess. I hope it gets resolved sooner rather than later. I want to see Ben back on the court. And, I know he's dealing with some mental health stuff as well. So I wish him the best, but I want to see him back on the court. I'm a fan of his game. I'm a fan of him as a competitor. I think he's arguably the most versatile defender in the NBA. And that includes Draymond Green, by the way. No offense to Draymond, because Draymond is a defensive genius. But Ben can literally guard 1 through 5. I don't know that Draymond's going to be chasing around Trae Young in a playoff series, which Ben did last year.
Hey, Trae Young's awesome.
Trae Young is, dude, can we just, anybody who just embraces the villain role, I'm rolling with that guy.
Anybody that goes right to the star, in the middle of Madison Square Garden, basically, after getting spit on in the middle of a pandemic and going, fuck you. And then he came back to SmackDown in Madison Square Garden and bullied somebody that was, it was just, I'm a big fan of his. That next generation, let's talk about Zion real quick before we get out of here.
Okay.
And I can't.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
He's my guy. I fucking love him. I need to get him out of.
Why do you say though he has to leave New Orleans?
He's never on TV, JJ. The Pelicans are never on TV.
Front office.
Ever. Get him on TV. Let's get it. All the teams are making plays right now, right? Everybody's making a play in the NBA. You know the game. I know the game. We know the game. It's superstar-driven league, but a lot of teams are kind of. There's no way. They didn't make the playoffs last year. One team didn't make the playoffs. It was them last year. The playoffs are national TV. 2 years ago for the bubble, they reconstructed the whole bubble just to get Zion in the bubble, and then they got boom right out of that whole thing. Let's. It might be Zion's fault. Obviously, I've heard rumors about maybe the off the court stuff, but he's never going to be He's never going to be a primetime guy in New Orleans, is he? You think?
He is a primetime guy in terms of being on a championship level team. That's hard to build. There's 30 teams in the NBA. There's maybe 5 or 6 championship contenders in a given season, and there's maybe 3 or 4 championship contenders at a time in a given 3 to 4 year era. So it's very difficult. You're talking about 10% of the teams. It's very hard to build a championship level team in any city, period. I saw a stat the other day. When Zion plays, the Pelicans are still under 500. right? So, some of it is he's got to probably get a little more help, and some of it is he's got to get healthy and get in shape. I mean, that's not a secret there. With the amount of force that he plays with, jumping up and down, you know this from being around the NFL. The amount of force that some of these guys are able to generate, it puts a lot of strain on your joints, on your knees, on your hips, on your ankles, on your hamstring. And if you're not fine-tuned like a fucking Ferrari, it can be a problem. That car may break down every now and then, and that leads to more problems.
How come it's not happening then? Why won't he, you think? Is he just, he thinks he can do whatever because he's always been able to? And he has success on the court. I think he's shooting like 80% or something like that. Is that why, you think?
Well, you'll have to ask him that. But I would say this. I would say
put on your pundit hat, JJ.
No, but listen,
I need the old man in the
18, 19 years old and something has worked for me my whole life, right? Why would I need to change?
Yeah.
To a degree, you could make sort of a parallel argument for the Ben Simmons situation with his shooting. I was a high school All-American. I was an All-American at LSU. I was Rookie of the Year. I've made an All-Star game. I've been All-NBA. Why the fuck do I need to change how I play? Right?
It's real.
So I get sort of the hesitation to sort of change, but the physical part is hard, man. And we brought this up earlier. That change that I had to make, and that change that I had to then act out and live for the next 17 years, my last 2 years at Duke and 15 years in the league. That's hard, man.
Yeah.
That is hard.
No
and
fun.
That first time you make that commitment, that first change from going to I've been eating too many biscuits and gravy and Cosmic Cantina, Bojangles.
Yeah.
And I was 225, and I started at the end of my sophomore year. I started my junior season at 192. You know how hard that summer was? It was one of the hardest 3 or 4 months of my life.
Mentally, too, probably, I'd assume, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it is not
100%.
easy to give that. And some people might never understand because I've had teammates that didn't like eating. Like, they actually didn't enjoy eating, so they had to force themselves to eat so they could keep on weight. And I'm like, I have no idea how that is how your brain and taste buds operate. My taste buds are so much better than yours because I enjoy food and I enjoy this and I've had success. It's very difficult, so hopefully he'll buy into the commitment because the entire world deserves to see Zion ball out. And I can't wait to see and listen to the Old Man and the Three podcast. JJ, you have been fantastic here. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm glad we got this done. I know we had this scheduled a couple months ago, and something came up, so I'm glad this worked out, guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
We're thankful for you, JJ.
Hey, it's been fun, man. Let's do it again. All
right. Hey, let's do it. Tomorrow? See you tomorrow. All right, JJ Redick.
Yeah.
So, although JJ was incredible there.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, so good.
I'm so thankful. That is also not the reason why people will talk about our entire show forever.
Yeah, interesting enough.
I believe in about 20 minutes there might be a very large conversation in the grand scheme of the sports world. Not that wasn't, by the way.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That came out of absolutely nowhere. I did not expect that.
Long overdue.
Shout out to JJ. Hey, JJ, thank you, dude.
Yes.
And to the Bookers, by the way. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey,
here we go.
Here we go.
As a UNC alumni, I kind of like him a little more now.
Zito went to one class on the internet. That was offered by UNC.
Yep.
Thank you.
So he is a Tar Heel.
Credit class, credit online course.
He's a Tar Heel through and through.
That's right.
It's good we got those rumors cleaned up, too, about
Yeah.
the partying.
I had never heard that before.
Oh my
yeah.
God. I should have asked him about my friend that was potentially with him a few nights or whatever. He ended up in West Virginia, and he was like, "You want to call JJ?" I was like, "Yeah."
I didn't know that. Is that widely known, though?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not.
megastar.
Maybe just in my world.
I thought it was, and I knew it, but maybe that is because of what
I told
heard,
you.
Maybe.
I heard awesome stories early. They're like, "You want to call JJ? He's just like us." And I was like, "What do you mean just like us?" They're like, "He's out right now, yeah." This is like 2:33 a.m. or whatever. And he never answered.
It might have been
Eating
during that
burritos.
summer. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been ordering Cantina.
Yeah.
Cosmic Cantina. All right, let's get to a break.
Now, why didn't he teach Ben Simmons to shoot, though?
Because did you hear what he said at the end? Do you not listen?
Come
No,
on.
I did. Yeah, he was all NBA and everything. But, I mean, he was getting slaughtered when JJ was there, too.
But I assume JJ, he tried. You can't. It's not easy
Yeah,
to just
I know.
be like, "Hey, I'm your coach now."
Yeah.
You know, hey, I'm going to tell you like that. He could probably try, But also, if something has worked for so long as it has, if it's not broke, don't fix it. There's a lot of athletes that live by that. I did for a long time. Eating chicken wings and pizza, drinking a few beers.
What?
These balls have always traveled very far, very long. I've been doing this for a long time. And then there's all those scientists that come out and say, if you were to eat healthy, your body would perform at a much higher level, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, tell me somebody that does that. They'd say, and I'm like, oh, I kick the ball 15 yards further and higher than they do. So maybe they should be doing what I'm doing. Send that message back that way.
So that's what they're doing with Zion. He's like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to eat bags of Doritos and drink Mountain Dew for the next 6 months.
No, but Zion probably has asked either to himself or aloud when they said, like, oh, look what this person does, and then Zion pulls up a clip. Has that person ever done this? No. Maybe they should be doing what I'm doing. That was hard for me not to say to other people. But then once I got past the stubbornness and the assholeness, and my taste buds being a bit more miserable, and I got in actual shape, and I got in the like that, I did become much better.
Yeah, I know what those people said back to you, but imagine what you could do if you did what this guy did.
Yeah, that's exactly the selling point. I'm like, well, imagine what they could do. Maybe I don't want them to do what I'm doing. Yeah, that's a hard thing whenever you have always kicked the ball harder, stronger, more explosive than anybody else, and then they tell you, oh, you need to be doing this differently. This is what this person does. It's like, I don't want to be that person. I like being me. It's pretty cool. I could just pop off a fucking 5'5" right now if I want to. I don't know if anybody else could do that. And then as I get older, I realize, like, oh, you fucking idiot. All these people are trying to look out for you. You know, it's just a process. That's right. Everybody has to go through their process. I'd assume Zion is a much higher level of that because he's been dunking like this since he was 11.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see those days. Shout out to JJ Redick, and shout out to about 17 minutes from now. Allegedly a big conversation potentially going to happen. We'll see you in 4.
It can be done. I mean, we signed Josh Freeman and Ryan Lindley, brought them in for a Tuesday workout, signed them. They were in the meeting room on Wednesday. You remember, Pat, I told the whole team, I said, hey, just mind your own business. Everybody do your frickin' job. Don't watch one snap of either of these guys. Do not watch any of fucking practice. Hold on. No judgment. Trust our coaches. Trust our offensive staff. They'll get these two guys ready to go. And sure enough, we went and beat the Titans, to finish the season 8-8. It was one of the most memorable wins we had, because of how we did it.
I think so. And Josh Freeman and Ryan Lindley, obviously incredible people, and they came in. And you did say in your Tuesday presser, I've told this story before, where we'll have a package for Pat McAfee. And I was like, wait a fucking minute, it's the last game of the season. Okay, we've lost 10 quarterbacks. There's no way I'm dying right now out there. But that was obviously a joke, obviously. But you bring in Freeman and Lindley, you making the proclamation to the team before they came in, hey, do not watch. All right? Just don't judge. No judgment. No judgment. Do not watch. And then me and Vinatieri, obviously, immediately upon hearing that, we're like, all right, so we got to go fucking watch this guy. And it was bad. That first day of practice was bad. I mean, it was bad. Thursday, still banging the drum here. Hey, let's not judge. Let's just keep putting in the work. Let's just keep going. It started looking a little bit better. None of us could have expected getting that win on Sunday. You're right. That is a very memorable game, and it's because of the adverse conditions that we're under,
Yeah, no doubt about it. And if you guys could have been at the workout on Tuesday, you would have said, no friggin' way you signed these two guys. Because you remember Josh Freeman had a cannon, right? Yeah. So you know how Frog and T and those guys had set up at the different areas? Like if you're throwing, quick game, you got a quick out or a slant. And then you go, 5-step drop, 7-step drop. He didn't complete one pass. He almost threw the football. He almost threw he tore up their hands, number one. Number two, the balls were bouncing off the indoor like BBs off a tin can. Almost threw a football through the wall of the indoor facility. And then we go, okay, that's good, Josh. Ryan, you're up. So then we get Ryan in there, right? Ryan's accurate as shit, but he's got zero velocity on the ball, right? It's taking forever. And I'm asking T and Frog, because they know, our two equipment guys, what do you think? He goes, man, that's an easy ball to catch. I mean, it's barely coming in here, Coach. I don't know if he's going to have to anticipate his throws really well. So I'm thinking, holy shit. And I'm like, is there anybody? That's it. Coney Island Josh Freeman was playing for the Coney Island Thrashers at the time, serving, soft serve ice cream at halftime for $250 a game. And Ryan Lindley he was driving Uber. He was hanging out in New York City. He was driving Uber at the time. His girlfriend was training for the Olympics, and he was in New York City driving,
those great guys.
Uber.
Hey, listen, a lot of ricochet shots.
Unbelievable.
Hey, these guys, unbelievable. Hey, the gabagool on these guys, Coach. Honestly, they were very good, but they...
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Welcome back to that show on this Feel Good Friday, November 5th, 2021. The day that the risk-free same-game parlay Thursday Night Football Thursday thing died.
R.I.P.
The day the RFSGPTNFT died. And I'll be singing bye-bye, stupid, saying goodbye. So that happened.
Yep.
After what happened last night, 6 yards away.
Can't have it. Can't have it.
He's about to score a touchdown. Then he got tripped up and we all lost. And then on the way out, by the way, of the stadium, it was great seeing people again.
Absolutely.
It was great getting out there. Obviously, there was a good group of people that were fans of our show in that stadium, and they all said hello to everybody. And on the way out, almost to a person, like 50 to 100 people. 6 yards, man.
6 yards.
That's it.
Not only do they carry it alongside of them for the rest of their night, and although the Colts just got a win, and I got a chance to meet somebody that's probably been listening or watching for a long time here in Indy, and it was a fantastic conversation, I saw their faces walking out of there 6 yards, and we lost.
Yeah.
And I was hanging my head just like them. Hanging my head. No more. Can't do it anymore.
Can't do it.
I need to enjoy these games.
Yeah.
Not to mention how upset Bill was.
Yeah, Bill was so disgusted he puked in the car.
Jesus.
Bill McComas on the way out of the stadium, in which they had every single street locked down.
Yep.
So we couldn't get to anywhere we needed to go. We had to go all the way around on a highway to get back to the office. It was a nightmare. Billy McComas said, I think I'm going to puke.
I think it was after
And
6 yards, too.
It might have been, it might have been 2 seconds after he said, I think I'm a puke. Like, I've never seen anything like this before.
No.
Normally, like, hey, I think I'm a puke. You got like 30 seconds maybe because the mouth's sweating. Billy McComas in a Pat McAfee Show hoodie, I think another one of our shirts, sitting on the bump in a Connor's Jeep. And Connor is a reckless driver.
Well,
You are. I was sitting in the trunk. My head hit off the thing a couple of times. I mean, it was
person in a week.
I think I'm a, yes, second person speak. It was talked about in the moment. I think I'm a puke. And then 2 seconds later, Billy McComas has his head down a sweatshirt. Violent puking.
Yeah. Fucking toddler, Bill?
So we literally put on we put on the flashers, pull over literally in the middle of like a highway, and we just tell Billy, charge it to the game, dude. Bill takes the hoodie off, the shirt off, throws it in the trash, gets back into the car, shirtless, and we have a night. Billy was so disgusted by those 6 yards losing that thing for us that he puked. We appreciate you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Just a quick heads up before this hour ends. Aaron Rodgers will be joining us on the other side.
What?
Alongside AJ Hawk. Be a friend, tell a friend. We'll see you in about 6 minutes. We regret to inform you that in the real world, the one that we're living in right now, this is an actual news clip about what's potentially going on amongst the fans in Kansas City. As the Chiefs seem to refine their identity, it seems like the fans are crumbling into pieces. This is, once again, an actual news piece on Fox 4 in Kansas City.
Well, if you spend any time around here on game day, you're likely to be aware of at least one of these men. The man known as the X Factor has been around for decades. He's the one seen in the video getting knocked down by another man who the people of Section 129 may know as Red Extreme.
There's X Factor. Here it is.
This is about 6 years ago, meeting and whooping it up with young Chiefs fans. And this is X Factor today.
Oh, no. What?
Only recognizable by his foam hat.
What?
The Broncos colors from the hospital. They kicked me out of Arrowhead. First time ever X Factor's been kicked out.
Third person.
We don't have permission to show the video of the X Factor falling after an apparent punch, but it has nearly 1 million views on Twitter. The X Factor explains what happened from his perspective and who is involved.
He's my old apprentice. I actually made him famous. You know, gave him the name Red Extreme. I saw him come run up the stairs at me, and he had that look, I'm going to kill you. And so I tried to grab his jersey to stop him and talk to him, and he, like the movie Friday, he deboed me one punch, and I saw stars. They took me to triage at Arrowhead, checked me out. I felt all right at the time, but then I didn't know I'd broke my ribs.
Red Extreme posted a 17-minute video message to his Facebook page following the incident. He says, a cup of water was thrown and hit my wife in the back and splashed onto me.
Can't do that.
He continues, I have never in my life felt so bad about feeling so good because knocking that low-life son of a expletive out was the greatest feeling I've had in a long time. My problem is it happened inside the stadium, and I never imagined in my life I would behave in that manner in the stadium. He also accuses the X Factor of being inebriated.
It says that I'm a meth addict, which I'm a cocaine addict and alcoholic. I've been clean for 4 years.
Okay.
He
Much
said
different.
I threw a water
Congrats,
bottle at
by the
him,
way.
which I didn't. And I flipped my car a week ago Tuesday. So it's been a wild week.
What? Wait.
This makes me stronger. Jesus, Jesus was persecuted.
Of course.
I'll come back fighting.
Is looking to press charges at this point, but throughout the day we did try to connect directly with Red Extreme, but were turned down. However, immediately before our broadcast we spoke by phone, and he stressed that anything that the X Factor says should be taken with a big dose of skepticism, and that he himself actually stepped away from the superfan community because of his distrust and distaste of X Factor's behavior.
Wow.
All right, Jacob Kittle.
Thank you, Jacob Kittlestad.
Thank you, Jacob.
I think we have potentially introduced people to the people of Pittsburgh, and I think a lot of people have potentially taken liking to more things out of Pittsburgh because of it, and for that, incredibly honored to be a part of. With that being said, when a video hits the internet like one did yesterday, and a Yinzer is showing off what a Yinzer is like at home, behind closed doors, when being caught on a candid camera, a lot of people immediately tweet us and go, oh, we thought you were lying, Donner, about what Pittsburgh's like. It's like, no. Yinzers are electric factory. Yinzers are hilarious. Yinzers are passionate. And this one particular Yinzer took the world by storm yesterday. Go ahead and run this thing.
A direct stab to Nod. That's my call.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Spread them on, do a direct snap to Nod.
Nausea.
Copper fit knee braces.
Works hard. Do what they want to do.
They're going to run it right up the middle for 0 yards.
That's what they're going to
do. 0.
Why don't they bring in Watt, the fullback?
Yeah, they don't need that. They need blocking.
He's going to pass.
Oh, he's not.
What's he back there
He's
for?
going to pass. No, he's not.
He's going to hand it off to that guy with no momentum. That's why.
That's why.
He did it.
He did.
He did a slant. Touchdown. Go! You better pick him up and put him down, motherfucker! Slow motherfucker!
So mad.
Why did he pick him up and put him down?
I don't know what that means.
Dad, he's a receiver. That's a touchdown. That's bullshit, Dad. Look at where the guy comes to catch him.
How old is this guy?
Who knows?
50?
He could be 70, could be 30.
See, that's what you do with the slant all the time. It's always there.
All right, so this guy obviously captivated the internet. Epitome of Yinzer, at @eYinzer is the Twitter account. And a lot of people immediately asked us, do you know who this guy is? And I think a lot of people are potentially saying that in jest. We do. That guy's from Plum. Yeah, we have seen those videos before they went on the internet. He is a beauty.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Hour 2 of this Feel Good Friday, November 5th, 2021, will begin right now.
Yeah.
That beat drop always sounds so beautiful. That beat drop always shows up. Just like this man who's joining us from an attic in Ohio. He drives with both feet, he sleeps while behind the wheel, and he pumps his gas while that car is still on somehow. He's living in the same world that you and I live in. That would be a miracle, but then you find out he's the all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, a Super Bowl champion, a college football national champion, and now the coach of the Clemson Tigers, a Little League football team in which he teaches them to tackle with the crown of their helmet every single night. Ladies and gentlemen, zero documented concussion having AJ Hawk. What's up, dude?
What's up, guys? Hey, I'm okay with everything but you telling people I'm teaching kids to tackle with the crown of their helmet. Obviously, I'm not doing that.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's a different time. You're a great coach. The Clemson Tigers are a great team. You would never do that. Now, with all that being said, AJ, there's been a lot to do about what's potentially about to happen. Oh, no, maybe not.
Uh-oh. What happened?
It's time for our show to get serious. Okay? Put these glasses on so when these clips inevitably get circulated, people at least have a little bit of a hint that I have some sort of brain activity. Because although I do wear a tank top and AJ looks the way he looks while smoking 15 cigars an hour,
right?
We get a chance to have conversations with people that go into depth that is not normally found. We get a chance to chit-chat with people because they're talking to people that they think are definitely dumber than them and have probably done things much stupider than they have. So I think we get a chance to learn things about people and have conversations that nobody else has. And I think that is an advantage to being a stooge, which we all are.
Yeah.
With that being said, this group of stooges has been tasked with a conversation about the topic that has been captivating the globe. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now, a man you might have heard of, the current reigning, defending, undisputed MVP of the NFL, Green Bay Packers quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah!
Woo! Hey, Rod.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
I'm good. First things first, how are you doing? Is everything okay? Or how are the symptoms? Do we feel good? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. Big thanks to everybody that reached out, checked on me the last couple of days. Felt really good. You know, heard from so many teammates, former teammates, coaches, members of the organization, friends, both yourselves. Thank you guys for that.
Hey, no problem.
So definitely appreciate all the love and support.
Okay, good. Let's get right to it. All right, I feel like what we have been able to, I don't want to say build with you in your incredible, just how nice you are with your time with us every single Tuesday. People have learned a lot about you through this show, and I'm very thankful for that. Every Tuesday, I think a lot of thoughts were potentially changed about you. People that once thought something about you changed after hearing you speak. So whenever all this information came out, there was a lot of haters out there, obviously, that immediately started burying you, but there was a lot of people that listened to you on Tuesdays that say, hey, he's actually an incredibly deep person, an incredibly intelligent person, somebody that you would actually like. There has to be reasons for everything that we're hearing about right now. So I appreciate you so much for this incredible honor that we have to potentially allow you to have a platform and a floor to explain your side of this whole thing. And I can't wait to hear it. We're incredibly lucky for it. The floor is yours, Mr. Rogers.
Thank you, buddy.
Good water drink. It's going to be a long one.
I realize I'm in the crosshairs of the woke mob right now. So before my final nail gets put in my cancel culture casket, I think I'd like to set the record straight on so many of the blatant lies that are out there about myself right now. And I appreciate the opportunity to tell my side of the story on here. First of all, I didn't lie in the initial press conference. During that time, it was a very, witch hunt that was going on across the league, where everybody in the media was so concerned about who was vaccinated and who wasn't, and what that meant, and who was being selfish, and who would talk about it, and what it meant if they said it's a personal decision. They shouldn't have to disclose their own medical information and whatnot. And at the time, my plan was to say that I've been immunized. It wasn't some sort of ruse or lie, it was the truth. And I'll get into the whole immunization in a second. But had there been a follow-up to my statement that I've been immunized, I would have responded with this. I would have said, look, I'm not, some sort of anti-vax flat earther. I am somebody who's a critical thinker. You guys know me. I march to the beat of my own drum. I believe strongly in bodily autonomy and the ability to make choices for your body, not to have to acquiesce to some woke culture or crazed, group of individuals who say you have to do something. Health is not a one-size-fits-all for everybody. And for me, it involved a lot of study in the off-season, much like the study I put into hosting Jeopardy or the weekly study I put into playing in the game. I put a lot of time and energy and research and met with a lot of different people in the medical field to get the most information about the vaccines before making a decision. And in actuality, it was pretty easy in the beginning to eliminate two of them. And it didn't involve going into the questionable history of some of their criminal activities and fraud cases or any of that stuff. It was simply the fact that I have an allergy to an ingredient that's in the mRNA vaccines. So on the CDC's own website, it says, should you have an allergy to any of the ingredients, you should not get one of the mRNA vaccines. So those two were out already. So my only option was Johnson & Johnson. At this time, in the early spring, I had heard of multiple people who had adverse events around getting the J&J. Nothing that was no deaths or anything, but just some really difficult times and physical abnormalities around the J&J shot. And then in mid-April, the J&J shot got pulled for clotting issues, if you remember that, right? So the J&J shot was not even an option at that point. So then my options became, okay, what can I do to protect myself and my teammates if there's not one of the big three options for me in my own body? And so I looked into and talked again to a lot of medical individuals and professionals and found that there was an immunization protocol that I could go to best protect myself and my teammates. And it was a long-term protocol that involved, multiple months. And I'm very, proud of the research that went into that, the individuals that I met with, and we felt like it was what was best for me. It was not, again, something that the league didn't know about. The league was fully aware of it upon my return to the Packers, and it was at that point that I petitioned them to accept my immunization status as under their vaccination protocol. Now, at the time, they had only had the big three was what they're going to do. And if you weren't in the vaccinated category, you were in a different category, which involved some draconian measures and protocols that you would have to adhere to, which in my opinion were not based on science. We're more based in a shame-based environment to try and get as many guys to get vaccinated as possible so that the league looks better to the rest of the world. That was the focus of these, protocols, which I'll get into when I finish this diatribe here about the petition. So I petitioned the league. Initially, they returned and said, no, you'll be in the unvaccinated category. And I also said, how come there's no exemptions for medical exemptions, religious exemptions, pre-existing conditions? And they basically said, look, those are all basically exempted, but you would be put in the non-vaccinated category. And I'll get into what that meant from a scheduling standpoint shortly, but there wasn't any way of getting around that in their mind. So after they came back and said, no, you're unvaxxed, I said, okay, I'm going to appeal this. And so we went through the process, which was a multi-week process, where I asked them for time to gather information. I gathered over 500 pages of research on the efficacy of immunizations, all the latest research surrounding my case, everything from mask wearing to the efficacy of the vaccines and the duration of the antibodies, just all the latest research, right, that I was getting from my medical team. And in that process, we had many conversations. I enjoyed the conversation with the league. It was good sharing. But one in particular stood out when I knew I was not going to win this. I had a meeting, and they said, one of the main docs said, it's impossible for a vaccinated person to get COVID or spread COVID. And at that point, I knew that I was definitely not going to win the appeal, and it was very shortly thereafter that denied. Which we know now that information is totally false. That was given to me. My desire to immunize myself was what was best for my body, and that's why this is so important to me. My medical team advised me that the danger I would be in to get of an adverse event was greater than the risk of getting COVID and recovering. So I made a decision that was in the best interest of my body. Not telling somebody to not get vaccinated or to get vaccinated. I think you should do what's in the best interest of your body. If you're scared of COVID, or if you have comorbidities, then getting vaccinated is probably in your best option. But if you have immunocompromised system, or if you have pre-existing conditions, then make the decision that's in your best interest. And that's what I did. I made the decision that was in my best interest. And the other part to it is that, and I've talked about this on the show before, but the next great chapter in my life, I believe, is being a father. And it's something that I care about a lot. And to my knowledge, there's been 0 long-term studies around sterility or fertility issues around the vaccines. So that was definitely something that I was worried about. And that went through my mind. Now, obviously, having an allergy to an ingredient, it took me off of being able to take the mRNA anyway. But that, even if I didn't have that would be something that would give me a little bit of pause, because we don't know what the long-term effects of these are. There's still clinical trials going on through 2023. So to just when people just say, oh, just get the jab. Well, first of all, everybody's body is different, number one. And second of all, there's a lot of things we don't know about this. So that's just one thing I really want to stress there. And again, the organization knew exactly what my status was. My teammates knew exactly what my status was. There was nothing that was hidden. During the time of preseason was during the time of the appeal. I thought actually at various times I was going to win the appeal. And I think that people said I didn't wear a mask during the preseason. But I mean, some of the rules to me are not based in science at all. They're based purely in trying to out and shame people, like needing to wear a mask at a podium when every person in the room is vaccinated and wearing a mask makes no sense to me. If you got vaccinated to protect yourself from a virus that I don't have as an unvaccinated individual, then why are you worried about anything that I can give you? And let me hit on protocols now, because that's obviously been out there as well. I have followed every single protocol to a T, minus that one I just mentioned, which makes absolutely no sense to me. But my daily routine is the routine of an unvaccinated person, which is I have to, test early before, starting the season. Vaccinated people test once every 2 weeks, non-vaccinated once a day, which, again, that's not based in science at all. You can have vaccinated people who actually carry and spread the virus, not testing for 2 weeks, and non-vaccinated people are the safest people in the building because we're the ones who are testing every single day and wearing masks the entire time. But instead, we're being made to think that we're the dangerous ones, we're the super spreaders, when in fact we're the most in touch with our body every single day. But these protocols that we've had to go through, I test every single day, 5 a.m. on noon games as well, which I don't understand why 5 a.m., but 5 a.m. in the morning on noon games. You test in the morning, and before you can go in the facility, you got to wait in your car for 30 to 40 minutes until they give you the okay to go in. Vaccinated people test and just go right in. So we had somebody test the other day. Vaccinated person tests, goes in, has breakfast, test positive. And then, oh shit, bummer, he just had breakfast with 5 people. Wait in my car, mask every day in the facility. So I mask up every single day in the facility. Physically distanced from everybody else. I have major travel restrictions, so I can't leave the hotel. Can't have dinner with teammates, even though I tested negative that morning to even get on the flight. The only people I see at the hotel are vaccinated people.
Good catch. Happy COVID hasn't caught your instincts.
Yeah. Only people I see at the hotel are vaccinated people. But I have to wear a mask the entire time. I can't see anybody. Can't see anybody after the game. I work out off to the side in the weight room in a mask. Again, there's been any studies about the efficacy of masks for workouts or the higher levels of CO2 inhaled during workouts and how it affects performance and body function. Not allowed to use the sauna or the steam room. I have to wear a yellow wristband at all times, basically shouting to the world, I'm uncleaned and unvaxxed. And in this situation now, I'm 10 days off regardless of tests or symptoms. So I'm sitting here 2 days in. I had some symptoms Tuesday night, tested positive Wednesday morning. Didn't feel great yesterday. I'll get into what I've been doing, but I feel really good today. This is Friday.
It is.
But 10 days off regardless, where a vaccinated person just has to have 2 back-to-back negative tests. When it comes to the science again for non-vaccinated, it came up last week because Alan Lazard was a close contact to Davante Adams, and Alan is not vaxxed, and they obviously tried to cancel him for that, but they also didn't bring up the fact that he tested negative every single day. So just because he was close contact and not vaxxed, this is what the league has done: is they've made it, hard for people, to have a decision because you're close contact. That means you're out for 5 days. Not based on any science, other than we're going to just keep this propaganda narrative going that unvaccinated people are the most dangerous people in society. And again,
can I ask some questions here now?
Let me finish up here.
Got it.
I just want to say, that is what the media has been trying to do. They're trying to shame and out and cancel all of us non-vaccinated people, call us selfish. Yeah. I mean, that's the propaganda line too. Now, you're selfish for making a decision that's in the best interest of your body. Now, I've already spelled out, which I shouldn't have to, but I've already spelled out the issues of my own personal body and my own personal health, right? That, I have issues related to ingredients in the mRNA vaccines. That the J&J got pulled, not to mention the numerous issues with the J&J vaccine to this day. That I went out and on my own paid for and did research and went out and did an immunization protocol that's been used. Homeopathy has been around for centuries, and the doctors that I consulted with have been doing this for decades. The same type of stuff for children and adults who have immunocompromisation. They have pre-existing conditions or reasons that they cannot take traditional vaccines. The league didn't offer any opportunity for alternative medicines or treatments, as I'll get into. But I think the thing that is so disappointing is that it was not just that, but it was the coercion and the collusion, of GM saying they're not going to sign non-vaccinated players, and the coercion for player 54 through 90 who thinks, if I don't make this squad that I'm on now in training camp, and I'm not vaxxed, my career is over. So there wasn't even opportunities. Workers in those same environments had no opportunity. Workers at the facilities, and it's happened all over the country. You were seeing these mandates for firefighters and policemen and government workers who are saying, well, no, it's, what about my body, my choice? What about making the best decision for my own circumstance? And that again, that health is not a one-size-fits-all thing. I think that's the thing that's most disappointing. Look at our squad. We've had, I'm the second non-vax player to test positive. It's pretty evident I tested positive being around a vaccinated individual. I mean, that's the majority of people I spend time with. There's been dozens of individuals that work at the facility that are vaxxed that have tested positive. So this idea that it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated is just a total lie. And I go back to like these two questions for the, for this woke mob. Like, number one, if the vaccine is so great, then how come people are still getting COVID and spreading COVID and unfortunately dying from COVID? Like, if the vaccine is so safe, then how come the manufacturers of the vaccine have full immunity? So let's just step back and realize, like, this vaccine is revolutionary, the things that they're doing. However, we don't know a whole lot about it. And to just say that it's a blanket for all that ails you, in my opinion, is wrong and reckless. And for the media out there taking shots at me, like, you don't know my story, now you do. So quit lying about me. And personal health decisions, in my opinion, should be private. And they shouldn't have to be like gone through the ringer and over scrutinized by, people who are just pushing their own type of propaganda on the people and ideals. You want to have a conversation about it? I'm more than willing to have a conversation about it. But bodily autonomy is a right. And the shaming and the outing that, people seem to get off on so much, of finding these people who, oh my God, can you believe these crackpots who are not vaccinated? Everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own story and their own issues and their own reasons for doing things. But this shaming cancel society, that is wrong. And I made a choice that was in my best interest. You might respect it, you might hate it, but I bet you the same people that hate it are the same people that are really going to hate the fact that I'm 48 hours in, and I consulted with a now good friend of mine, Joe Rogan, after he got COVID, and I've been doing a lot of the stuff that he recommended in his podcasts and, on the phone to me. And I'm going to have the best immunity possible now, based on the 2.5 million person study from Israel, that the people who get COVID and recover have the most robust immunity. And I'm thankful for people like Joe stepping up and using their voice. I'm thankful for my medical squad. And I'm thankful for all the love and support I've gotten. But I've been taking monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, zinc, vitamin C and D, HCQ, and I feel pretty incredible.
Okay, so you said a lot there. We appreciate it. I'm going to have to ask some follow-ups, and we appreciate you getting your entire side out there. And there's some incredibly enlightening stuff about why you chose to do what you do. So I wasn't able to get the what was that last one? The
ivermectin.
Ivermectin. I wasn't even able to get it. Doctor, I didn't know that this was an entire political battle. I don't know that world well enough. I had no clue. But the doctor was like, hey, we'll give you this. You'll get this. Go over to the pharmacy, pick it up. I was vaccinated, had COVID, by the way, 104.5-degree fever. I mean, it was bad. And I had to think about my long term because I would like to be a father as well when I made those decisions. I went over to the pharmacy and I was in the middle of having COVID. And me and the pharmacist were getting into like, you're not allowed to have this. This isn't what you're allowed to have. It became this whole thing. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. Like, I didn't write the script. I have no clue what you're doing. But it seems like all the rich people, okay, since the beginning of time, and this is coming from somebody who, and I'm not going to say I was a poor person, but a very humble beginning. Since the beginning of time, we always assumed that the rich people always got the best access to the best stuff, and they've always been able to do it. And then all the rich people are taking this one thing, and it seems to be helping everybody out. And then all of a sudden, somehow everybody is now being told that it's not. This isn't going to do it. This is horse. This is that. It's like, I don't understand how we get to that as a whole world. I haven't looked into it enough, but it appears as if you have. And if I'm getting this right after what you just said there, the diatribe that was like 20 minutes addressing all answers, and I saw you take notes there, which is beautiful. Am I getting it right that you didn't want to be one of the faces of like the anti-vax community? So whenever people said that you slyly and misled, and that was in the middle of a different time than we're currently in, it feels like the way you were talking is you didn't want to become a poster boy, the MVP of the NFL, Aaron Rodgers. You weren't ready or didn't want to be the poster boy for an anti-vax community. And now have you just had to buy into it because there's a lot of every politics, sports world, everybody's talking about you right now. This is basically all of 2020 and 2021 crashing down in on itself in one situation for a guy that's currently in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Have you now kind of bought into that? And your message was very clear, like you should make your own personal decision, which is what everybody said. But is that why at the beginning you didn't want to be that person? Is that why you kind of did the immunized answer? And if you would have got harped on it, you would have followed up, but you didn't want to get into that world? Is that why you chose that?
I really felt like at the time there was a time and a place for sharing of information. It was such a witch hunt. They wanted to out and shame and denigrate every single person who didn't immediately say, "Oh yeah, I got the Pfizer, I got the Moderna, whatever." I wanted it to go away. I mean, everyone in the squad knew I was not vaccinated. Everyone in the organization knew I wasn't vaccinated. I wasn't hiding it from anybody. I was trying to minimize and mitigate having to have this conversation that would go on and on. And there were people in the media who somehow found out about it and been sitting on it for a couple months. So it wasn't like this thing was just hidden until this week. Like, people knew it and they sat on it. At some point I knew I was going to have to discuss it. And, I was ready to discuss it. But the problem with this is it is so political. And health should not be political. It shouldn't be that, Trump endorsed ivermectin and HCQ, and so take that shit off, it doesn't work. I mean, in general, I think we all should have been a little hesitant. When Trump in 2020 was championing these vaccines that were coming so quick, what did the left say? And I'm talking about every member of the left. Don't trust the vaccine. Don't get the vaccine. You're going to die from the vaccine. And then what happened? Biden wins and everything flips. Shouldn't that initially give you a little bit of pause and go, hold on a second? Isn't this shit about health and not about like politics? And to that point, has any member of the health staff this entire time got up and actually talked about real health? Have they talked about exercise, a healthy diet, like eating real food, drinking water, taking vitamins, vitamin D deficiency and what that causes in the body? No, there hasn't been any of that. I'm going to critically think about what's best for my own health. I'm not judging anybody else. I'm not saying you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. But I'm making a decision that's based on what's best for me and my own health. And for me, it was a no-brainer.
You said the league knew of your situation and everything. Obviously, when you're appealing your whole protocol that you did. Now, a big thing is that, you're doing these press conferences. You're not wearing a mask, whatever. you told us how you feel about the protocols. Have you heard anything from the league throughout this? I mean, you've played through how many weeks to where they could clearly see you doing these interviews? Have you heard from anybody in the organization, from the league? What is it?
There have been conversations with it. I would, add this to the mix as an aside, but the great MLK said that you have a moral obligation to object to unjust rules and rules that make no sense. In my opinion, it makes no sense for me. I test every single day. Every single day. So we play in Arizona on Thursday. We come back. Guys leave for the weekend. I don't. We test every single day. Right? Early in the morning. If I test in the morning and I wear a mask the entire facility, and you want me to wear a mask just to shame me that I'm not vaccinated, to continue to perpetuate a story that I'm not vaccinated, in a room where the only way you can get in that room is if you're fully vaccinated against a virus that I don't have as a non-vaccinated person. Not to mention, you're sitting more than 6 feet away from me, in most cases at least 20 feet away from me. Where's the science in that? Where's the science in that says, oh, that makes perfect sense? So it was my opinion that wasn't rooted in any science. Every other protocol I followed to the T.
Okay, so your day-to-day is terrible. It sounds like as a or non-vaccinated, but they said that going into the season. What do you have to say about the people like, well, this is the NFL, this is what you have to do? Like, did you ever even consider that or thought about that? Like, hey, the NFL, you get to do this? Or are you potentially speaking for a lot of NFL players right now and NFL coaches and GMs that are also a little bit like, hey, we're the most in shape people in the world. We study our bodies more than maybe anybody out there. You heard stories. Russell Wilson spends $1 million plus a year on his body. Tom Brady has an entire business around taking care of his body. You're 30 what? What are you now?
37.
Still squatting. You're changing you're taking care of your body. I think you're speaking for a lot of people in there, but what about the people that say, like, this is the NFL's rules, this is what you got to do. You get to be there. You know, that entire statement, your thoughts?
I respect both sides of that argument and understand both sides of that. I will say, when they sent in the stooge early in training camp to basically shame our team that we were 19th in the league in percentage of vaccinated people, I raised my hand and asked a few questions to challenge some of the things he was saying. And afterwards, I heard from so many people on the team, players, coaches, who thanked me for being able to stand up and say the things that I said, because it's hard for those people, especially people who don't have a position of leadership or any type of power, to stand up to things that don't make any sense. And the coercion that was forced on some of these individuals without an opportunity to have an exemption based on pre-existing conditions, medical exemption, or a religious exemption, to me was a little bit inhumane. And those guys really appreciated me standing up for them. I've talked to many guys across the league who are in similar situations and have been faced with similar ways of being dealt with. I understand that the league is able to put in place its own policies. I didn't agree to any of them, though. I didn't sign a piece of paper that gave away my rights to live a normal season of life. And I felt like I protected myself in a way that not only protected myself and my teammates. And, I tested over 300 times before finally testing positive. Like I said, it was probably from a vaccinated individual. I don't think that many of the policies are rooted in science.
Quick question about the science. Hey, quick question here, Aaron. You said you had your medical team, and it was like a 500-page research report, which is unbelievable. I think a lot of people would enjoy seeing that. Did that team present it to the NFL? And how was the NFL's doctorate or medical team responsive to your holistic homeopathic doctors that have been doing it for decades and decades and decades? You think there was no respect immediately there, not even an open ear for the conversation?
I think they thought I was a quack. I mean, and which was portrayed out in what was said to me when that vaccinated people can't contract the virus or spread the virus. And I had already had studies that I had seen that was false. And when that was said, I knew there was no chance I was going to win this appeal. Before that, I really thought there was a chance. I really felt like we were making some hay and we were having good conversations. At least being able to amend some of the policies for non-vaccinated players that didn't make sense scientifically, that seemed to be solely rooted in a way to shame guys into having to be outed or coerce them even more to get the vaccine. Things like bye-week schedule and mini bye-week schedule and stuff on the road. To me, it didn't make sense from a science level. It's more just trying to make us have the least fun year possible that maybe will make more guys end up getting vaccinated.
Can you explain what your holistic homeopathic immunization potentially does? Like, what does it build up in your body? Because I think there's probably a lot of people who potentially feel the exact same way you do. Actually, I know there's a lot of people who feel the exact same way that you do. That's personal decision, don't want to do it for whatever the reason is, whether they're immunocompromised. Mm-hmm. Nailed it. Thank you. Bingo. That's a big time science word. But there's probably a lot of people that feel the way you do. What did your research find, and why did you feel as if you were immunized? What did you build up in your body that maybe you were able to find without the allergy to the mRNA or the studies you did on Johnson & Johnson? How did you find this particular treatment plan to get there?
Well, I researched a lot of different types of medical individuals, and I talked with not just MDs, but holistic doctors, homeopaths, different people. And, when you start to talk to these people, there's a common thread with many of these folks, and that all they care about is healing people, And there's some jokes about how healing people, there's no money in it, which is an interesting thing to think about. But I was fortunate enough to be around some amazing minds, Harvard MDs and brilliant people from all over the country who I kind of brought in and just talked to them about some of my own issues and what would be best and what they would recommend. And the opportunity to do this, the homeopathic stuff came up. The specific protocol, I'm just going to keep between my doctors and myself. But it was a way to stimulate my immune system to create a defense against COVID.
So what happens when you go back? I know you're eligible to return if you test negative, I guess the day before the Cardinals game, November 13th, I believe. Are you going to change anything when you get in there?
Seahawks game?
Is it Seahawks? Yeah.
I think, the interesting thing is I don't think I have to test now for 90 days. So I don't know how that changes everything else in the facility. Do I become basically a vaccinated status where I don't have to wear a mask and I don't test? I'm not sure. I'm sure I'll find that out shortly. I'm sure somebody will probably watch this and text me in the next half hour. But
you do? What if they said? That would be funny. Yeah, you're wearing a mask everywhere still, pal. Yeah, that would be you. Sorry.
But that's what I do want to say, is I have taken this very seriously. I'm not a COVID denier or any bullshit like that. Like, I just wanted to make the decision that was best for my body. That's it. I wear my mask when I go out in public, The only time I haven't worn my mask is when I'm around all vaccinated people. And my response to those people would be like, hey, just so you know, I tested this morning negative, number one. And number two, you got vaccinated against something that you would be worried about me having, which I just told you I'm negative. To me, I can't make any more sense than that. Like, if I'm in public, I wear a mask. If I'm at my house, I'm not wearing a mask.
Hey, it would be awesome if you would have came on here because I was told, a couple times through this entire process that I was a bad journalist because I didn't ask you what immunized meant and if you were vaccinated or not. So I appreciate you, not showing up in a mask the first 8 weeks of Aaron Rodgers Tuesday because we wouldn't have been able to hear you. You know, that would have been a little bit difficult. It would have been bad for the show. But I do appreciate the fact that you're testing every single morning. So you know more about your level of COVIDness inside of you than probably anybody else on earth right now. I'm not sure there's any other protocol that's doing that to anybody. The only protocols that are around the country right now in every business is very similar to the NFL is, hey, if you get vaccinated, your life's going to be a lot easier. If you're not vaccinated, it is going to be hell. That is basically happening everywhere. I guess they're firing people now at this point if you're not vaccinated. How do you see this whole thing panning out now that you are the center of the entire vaccination world almost at this point, Aaron?
I think that at some point we need to remember that health is not the same for everybody. It's not a one-size-fits-all. I've said that a couple times now. I strongly believe in autonomy over one's body and the ability to make decisions that you think are in your best interest. I think it's crazy to have these mandates. Obviously, there's been people that stand up to them and push them back against them, whether it's the airlines or some of the municipal workers. If, you know, again, the vaccines do offer some protection for sure, but there's a lot we don't know about them. There's a lot we don't know about the waning antibody counts. And now, you know, I think there's been conversations around needing boosters, a third and a fourth, you know, booster shot. There's a lot to natural immunity, and natural immunity has not been a part of the conversation. But the latest studies, and I have 30 of them I can go through, talk about how important natural immunity is. And actually, if you've gotten COVID and recovered from it, that's the best boosted immunity you can have. I think what we forget to talk about here, because again, healing people, there's not a lot of money in it, but this is a pandemic of health, right? As much as it is, a virus which mutates, which we know mutates, and it's going to continue to mutate and mutate on and on and on. But it's a virus of health, and the most important thing would be educating people on how to live a healthier life. That's how we can beat any type of disease. Not putting a blanket over it with a vaccine, which creates a spike protein, which recognizes one specific strand of a virus, which is made to mutate. Like, how about we teach people how to be healthy? And until that is the conversation, and it's, it's nothing's going to happen. The conversation is going to be, that, I'm a, non-vaxxed person, and, then the non-vaxxed people, the right or whatever, is going to champion me, and the left is going to cancel me, and I'm...
No, Aaron.
And the whole time, I don't give a shit about either of them. Politics is a total sham. I'm not going to go on Fox News like I wouldn't go on CNN. I have zero desire to do any of that. The only desire I have is to empower people out there to take autonomy over their body in all forms and facets, and that you have the right to make a decision about your body. That should be an unalienable right for all people to make an educated decision based on what they think is best for them, their body, their family, their family's bodies, on and on and on. If you have fear around the virus and you want to get vaccinated, go for it. If you have comorbidities, go for it. If you're a healthy person who has a strong immune system, keep building your immune system and do what you got to do. Do what's best for your body. But that opinion, doesn't work because we've given away billions of dollars to these pharmaceutical companies now for these vaccines, and it's not going to stop. Merck's coming out with a pill. Pfizer's coming out with a pill that's going to help. It's basically the expensive versions of ivermectin. Why do people hate ivermectin? Not just because Trump championed it, because it's a cheap generic. Can't make any money off it. But it's been used 1 billion times in India. Go look at that research. What's going on over there?
Well, I will let you know. I feel like I have to do a lot of research after the conversation we just had. There's going to be people that are so incredibly pissed at me for not asking you more questions. But to be clear, I am a sports stooge who is incredibly lucky to get a chance to chat with a man who has been at the center of a conversation for the last couple of days revolving around his decision-making and what he has done. Seems like you're in a good spot. I hope you continue to remain asymptomatic throughout this entire thing and can't wait to see you back on the field, brother.
Yeah, let me just finish with this.
Okay.
I thought what you said is really powerful, and I hope people can hear that. The situation that I'm in should be a conversation, not a controversy. I've made a decision based on what's best for my body. I've just laid it out to you, my health history, and why I made this decision. Okay? This shouldn't be a controversy. It should be a conversation. I'm here to continue the conversation. Because of this virus and testing positive, I have to miss 10 days. Again, the scientifics of that arbitrary number is whatever. I feel really good, and if this were the flu, there's no reason I wouldn't play on Sunday, especially the way I feel right now. That being said, I'm very excited for Jordan. I have had conversations with him. It's going to be very strange to watch the game without being there. Just my third time ever watching a game on TV of a team that I've been on. The other two was post-surgeries in 2006 and 2017. So that's going to be hard. But look, I hope that we can take a step back, quit lying, quit with the witch hunt and the canceling, and realize this is a conversation to be had, not a controversy. And let's move this forward with some love and connection. That's what we need in this world. This things that we don't agree with or understand. When we don't agree or understand with each other, let's communicate instead of initially just canceling someone, silencing someone. Like, that gets us nowhere. Like, that's what I did when I started my research. I put every single bias to the side and think about, okay, what is going to be best for my body, and listen to everybody on every side of every opinion. That's the only way to truly learn things without bringing your own personal bias into things. You want to live in an echo chamber? Go for it. But that's not a way to move society forward. That's not a way to move your own consciousness forward. You got to be able to reach across the aisle and talk to people you don't agree with. I've talked to many people who are vaxxed, and we've had incredible conversations on both sides. And I appreciate hearing their insight. I made a decision that was in the best decision of my body. And if you have a problem with that, there's nothing that I can say to you other than this was my decision, this was best for my body, and I'm sorry you feel that way.
It'd be a really cool world if we all knew why we felt the way we felt, as opposed to just judging people for the way that they feel. Last question for you before we let you go, and this has been awesome. I mean, we're probably going to get deplatformed at some point, I assume. I think that is something that's potentially going to happen out here. But I appreciate you coming in here and spilling your soul, basically, and your thoughts. And we're learning a lot about you, I think, in the process of doing this. And my last question is, did you know this was going to come? You had to have known, right, at some point? Because, for instance, when I got COVID and my wife didn't, but she was with me the entire time that I was there, and there was 2 pilots on the plane and something else, and they didn't get it for 4 days later, and then once that happened, it just kind of went, and it was going. I just assumed everybody was going to get COVID. I said, I got vaccinated, I just assumed everybody's going to get COVID at some point. Hey, look at, it is coming. Did you expect this at some point to hit? You had to have, right, I assume?
Yeah, I knew it was going to hit because I specifically said I'm immunized. And I felt like at some point that was going to get revisited. There were people that were fishing around about that had the story 2 months ago. So I knew that this was going to come. I was ready for it.
Hey, why didn't they go with it 2 months ago if they had it?
I don't know exactly why. Maybe there wasn't enough to cancel in the moment. They they kind of got a windfall when I got COVID to go with this story. But look, I obviously don't want to ever get COVID and have to miss time from your teammates, but to label what they've labeled it selfish, deceptive, there was nothing deceptive about it. Me, the things I say are very pointed. If there had been follow-up questions, I would have answered them honestly as well. My team, everybody in the organization knew exactly what my status was from day one. And the decision I made was purely a decision that was in the best interest of my body. So Look, I don't really have a whole lot else to say other than this is the highlight of my day. Not just getting to talk to you guys, but it's kind of boring when you're quarantined by yourself for 10 days.
It's lonely too, man. It's lonely in there too. I mean, when I was in there, my wife was staying away from me for 2-3 days there at the beginning, and then she ended up getting it so we could hang out again. But it is, hey, the mental aspect of it is just as difficult as hopefully the physical aspect that you're already past. We can't thank you enough for joining us. We'll see you next Tuesday, pal.
Can't wait. I think I'll be 100% by then. Buddy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's Aaron Rodgers Friday. What will he say? Is that son of a bitch vaccinated?
Want to watch today, or is he going to watch on Tuesday? That's the question.
Oh, okay. We'll sing the vaccination song on Tuesday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. Thank you, man. Yeah. Sirius XM Hour 2 is ending in 5 seconds. We'll be back in about 10 minutes on Sirius XM. We can't thank you enough. Out. That was a hard out there. Wow. Hey, he said a lot in there, AJ.
Yeah, he sure did.
There's a lot said in there. Let's get to a break because I have to go to the bathroom. And that was a fascinating thing. There's going to be a lot from that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure I missed so many follow-up questions. But y'all motherfuckers did too when he said he was immunized. So get off my ass. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Can't thank you all enough for joining us. There's going to be reaction and more, and hopefully some phone calls at 1-833-4-McAfee on the 5-Hour Energy phone line. The same game parlay, the risk-free same game parlay Thursday Night Football Thursday might be dead on FanDuel. But the conversation's just starting over here on this show.
Hell yeah.
See you in 5 minutes. Cheers. To experience so many things, both as a businessman off the field and on the field. Is there a moment when I ask this question that pops your mind, like, what's the craziest shit you've ever seen in your entire life? Because there was a time there where it felt like you were just getting dropped into insane situations and the world was like watching you do things. Man vs. Wild, you and that Bear Grylls guy, fucking electric. That was maybe the most electric shit I've ever seen. Is there anything that you think of whenever you think, like, what's the most ridiculous thing you've been a part of?
Probably some of the most ridiculous shit I ever been a part of was, I had got the restaurant which I'm in right now, and when we first got it, I would come in here and I would clean up and go outside in the front, sweep up, make sure everything looked nice and shit. And one morning I got up here and I noticed, damn, this is a funky ass smell. And I looked, to the side of my front door, and it's a big ass pile of shit. And I'm talking about human shit. Yeah, and it's right on the side of the door. So I was like, somebody done came and popped the shit right in front of the door. Like, oh, this shit is crazy. Like, I can't be in here serving food. Motherfucker come walk in and they smelling straight ass cheeks when they come in there. Like, I don't think that's the restaurant I need to eat in. So, man, I get the water hose and I'm hosing it down. And, I see, we got a couple, dolphins that usually walk back up in front. Hey, man, did you do this? Like, oh, no. So, one of them owned up to it. I said, man, check it out. So you don't do this no more. Look, you come by here, we get you we get you a broom and, you help us, we help you. You feel me? And, we put together a little, I put a proposition together for him, and I ain't cleaning up shit no more.
It's a win-win. It's a win for everybody on that one. Hey, one of your former teammates. Yeah, hey, everybody wins. You're helping the people, man. That's awesome. That's why people love you. But hey,
one of them owned up to it. Just a line of questioning. The line of questioning.
His name was Willie. Willie owned up to. Matter of fact, he just left out. He said, sweeping up. He like, hey, what's up? Oh, boy, I've been looking for you. You feel? Okay. Yeah, we bust down together up in the front of the restaurant to get it all cleaned up and everything.
Hey, you're helping people. Hey, Willie went from shitting outside to working inside. Let's go.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go, Willie. Let's go.
Give it up for my boy Willie, man.
What's the most beer you did in one night you think of one of those shows?
Well, I never forget when we went to Japan one time. Dudley, Stacy Keebler. I mean, there were so many people out there. I think we went through 103 or 108 Now, between just for myself, you know, I'd always make sure to have about a 12 or 18 pack there. And, you know, here's the thing when some people say, oh, shit, man, you got too much of that beer on you. You don't even know how to drink beer. It's like, dude, fuck you. You don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to entertain 20,000 people in an arena. If I just go out there and sip it real properly, how fucking exciting is that? So when you're out there on an empty belly and you're shotgunning beers and all that shit's going in, the half that was going in was for me. The half that was going on was for them. Nice. But I'm telling you, Pat, when you shotgun a bunch of beers like that and you're drinking about half of each beer, you got a pretty damn good buzz when you come out. And that's a sacrifice I was willing to make every single night.
I would assume you're pretty fucked up, yeah. When did you start self-cheersing? When did you start self-cheersing? Was that something you did in college? You're like, hey, Steve, good for me, man. Like, when did that start?
No, you know what? I got to give credit to Sandman for starting that, but he was bashing him off his head, and I don't remember, and it wasn't because Sandman was doing it, so I don't want to say I copied him, but he was the first. So, and then my style was, because people always get us confused. They'll say, yeah, man, you used to bang them on your head. No, motherfucker, I was the guy that clacked them together. It was just something we came up with. I don't know how the beers got introduced to the ring, but it became a thing, and we ran with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Coach Mike Tomlin.
Oh, man, Pat, it's an honor to be on with you, man. Thanks for having me.
You're a legend. Thank you for putting me through my workout and having the scouts actually come watch me kick at West Virginia. I don't think I've ever fully thanked you for that moment, Coach.
No, man. I've drank the McAfee Kool-Aid for a long time.
Let's get right into it. The locker room culture changed completely when I was in the league, from when I was a rookie to when I was done, and I retired after the 2016 season. Now it's even more different, I would assume, from when you came into Pittsburgh and everything like that. The dancing on the logo, the TikTok, everything like that you guys have had to experience. What is your messaging in there? How do you adapt and let players be themselves without, doing too much? Because that is a fine balance that you've been able to do, I think, an incredible job with throughout your entire time in Pittsburgh.
I think for me, more than anything, I try to stay connected. Just getting a sense of where these guys are coming from, what's in vogue for their generation, what captures their attention, how do they learn, how do they communicate, how do they interact with each other formally and informally. And I think being a parent kind of helps me. My boys are 19 and 20, so it's not much difference between them and some of the younger guys that I deal with here. And so for me, it's just about gaining an understanding, working to stay connected. That's my general attitude, man. It's adapt or die for me. And I don't want to be one of them old crusty guys, man, that just refuses to adapt. Although I am one of those old crusty guys now.
Yeah, you are old as shit now. You know what I mean? You've been around a long time. I remember back in the day, whenever you showed up, there was a lot more, to the camera. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. Now you're just old ass man now, huh?
You know how it is. Years in this business will scar you, man. It'll settle you down.
That is classic. One of my favorite moments with you is when you would tell me every warm-up, I'm going to get you back to Pittsburgh when you're old and cheap. What's that mean? What did that mean? And should that have been taken as a smack in the mouth, like whenever you said that to me?
No, man, it was a tip of the cap, man. There's certain guys around this league that I'm really interested in, but I know I cannot afford. And you were one of them, so I was going to wait for you to physically deteriorate a little bit until you came back into my wheelhouse.
Yinzers are going to go bananas in Heinz Field this weekend. First time it could be filled up in a long time. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to... Oh, mama, I'm here for my life. Is that your alarm clock? Yeah, just say yes, by the way. Yeah.
It's my ringtone. It's my alarm
clock. We appreciate you, Coach T. Last question before we let you go. Why'd you let Troy Polamalu do what he fucking did to me? Why'd you let... I know you've heard of this. Why? Well, that's a short side of the field. That's bad football. You guys coaching unsound football over there in Pittsburgh? How did that happen?
We know you and love you as a man. But on Sundays in the fall, man, you're the nameless gray faces that we...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, never had a losing season, absolute legend, two-time Super Bowl champion, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah!
Thank you,
Coach. Can we take a moment of silence for the first 2 to 3 years of Zach Wilson's career? Because all he's got going for him is Bob Saleh. That's it.
Moment of silence for his mom who made her Instagram That's what I thought we were doing.
Let's get to, that's what I thought we were doing. Let's go to Chris and Indy. What's going on? Mrs. Wilson, hope everything's all right.
Yeah, she jumped out there, right, with some hot takes, and then
she got a fake mask she wears.
She
AJ.
does not like Hooers.
Not a fan of Disney.
She doesn't like
Or
Disney
Snapchat.
or Hooers.
Oh, there's going to be a bunch of Hoovers running around Zach. She said enough of it. Not on that Snapchat.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome back. Great to have you. Can't thank you enough for watching and listening wherever you're at.
Is there anybody left, you think?
Big politics show. Here we are. Bang!
Yeah!
Can't thank you all enough for joining us here on this hour 3 of this It's a Friday. This is a Feel-Good Friday. Feel-Good Friday,
Feel-Good
November
Friday.
5th,
Hell yeah.
2021. Obviously, we led off the show announcing that the risk-free same-game parlay Thursday Night Football Thursday bet exclusive on FanDuel is no more because we've lost 9 straight times.
Fuck.
So that's dead. We'll have to think of another idea. That was going to be big news, obviously, conversation. JJ Redick came on in the first hour and told some incredible stories. Was awesome. That was going to be a big conversation. Obviously, there's a entire weekend slate of NFL games that we have to get to and chit-chat about. That was going to be big.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we just had a rather large conversation there. That previous hour right there, AJ Hawk. And I assume since you've been friends with Aaron for so long that you've gotten a chance to experience this a little bit before. Everything that guy does is a firestorm. Everything. The way he golfs, the way he talks, who he dates, where he goes, how he does his thing, what his hair looks like, his family, his everything about him is a full conversation piece. I mean, that's just how it's been. We've only gotten a chance to experience it, I think, for the last couple years because we've been associated with him via the Aaron Rodgers Tuesday and everything like that. But whenever this situation pops off, boom, okay? The media feels as if Aaron lied to them. He misled us. This guy was, we thought, a complete ally of ours, and instead he was colluding with others and lying and misleading us into a path that we thought he was our guy. He's not our guy, so now we got to be pissed off. That happened, okay, this week. And I'm not, that's a broad brush that I'm painting on a lot of media and sports media, and I don't mean to do so. I assume that's not the case, but there was a lot of people that felt that way that came out very loud. And then there's an incredibly passionate crowd that as soon as they hear those calls and as soon as they recognize it themselves, they're coming, hey, here we come. This son of a fucking bitch wants to take down the whole world. This guy lying, he doesn't want to do this. Boom, they're coming out. But don't you, hey, let me get the Kornacki map out. Don't you worry about that, though, because the people, I mean, here, even, we can even do this. This particular shade here, a lot of this one, right here on this side. Let's go separate. Boop, let's move it over here. They're coming out. That son of a bitch! Right, selfish prick asshole. And then this side here, okay, and not all, but either side, not here. They're on this side. This guy, he's a hero. This guy's our hero. This is the MVP of the NFL, telling the NFL, fuck you, and telling society and everybody, I ain't doing it because I have an allergy to 2 out of the 3. The third I'm not comfortable with. This guy's our guy. This guy's our guy, but it's more complicated than that because there are some in both sides that are also against what the most of the party is. So then you got conflicting wars going on. Okay? That's what you have. You have some people that are on the left side. Well, so do I do the TV or mine? I don't know.
I don't think it matters in this case.
All right, you do the left side, and you think to yourself, oh, it's left versus right. But then if you're a human in our society, and you actually pay attention at all or have friends all across the spectrum, that is not the case. This is a torn, split thing, and Aaron Rodgers was the guy here that everybody came out to, and I'm so thankful he came on and talked, but I don't know if it's going to change anybody.
Yeah.
This is still going down, and he's right here. He is right fucking here, and both of them, pow, 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 pow. Woo, woo, whoa, 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 pang, pang, pang. We're back. With every answer he gave, it was like that, I guess, on the internet as I was scrolling through the last 8 minutes. AJ, your thoughts on everything that just took place, not here, but in the convo with Aaron.
Well, I have to address what just happened there. I think that is a very accurate representation of what's happening in the world right now. Like and that's what Aaron was trying to say. Like, it should be a conversation, not whatever, not a conviction. I don't know if he said conviction or whatever, but
controversy.
There you go. Yeah, controversy.
Yeah, listen, I'm good.
But yeah, I think he definitely made it clear. Like, he's not trying to pick sides. He's not saying like, oh, I'm a full-go anti-vaxxer. I'm not going on Fox News. I'm not going on CNN. He wants to make it not political, but unfortunately, where we're at, like we're in too deep. Like, there's no going back now.
Yeah, the whole world is in on this.
Yeah,
because our entire world was stopped for this. So it's a fascinating situation for sure. And I think the overwhelming majority in here, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I think the way we looked at it after we took that break and scanned the internet, it's going, by the way.
Oh yeah, all of it. I'm sure.
Look at it. They're going to see this tank top and you sitting over there, probably on nightly news.
Oh, yeah. NBC World News Tonight.
Hey, Mom, I'm going to be on nightly news. yeah. Hey, Mom, here we go. Hey, that's pretty cool, huh? That's in that world. But they're going to see that. And it's, I think the people that hated him going in, I think they still hate him.
Yeah.
And I think the people that liked or were kind of on his side, they're even more empowered, I think, to be on his side. So this is just going to remain a classic politics situation, which we've all decided is so fascinating because it runs so much of the world. These people run so much of the world, and literally all they do, it seems like from the outside, I'm not in there, obviously. I don't think I'm allowed in, especially dressed like this. Although I was on the speaker's patio.
That's right.
Balcony.
Seen it.
With a cutoff hoodie. No big deal. But anyways, I think they just, literally all they do in that world is, ah! And then if you're on the other side, you just go like this, and then you go, ah! Back. Mm-hmm. And then once that's done, I think you just lose your breath or your voice. Oh, guess what? We got a new subject for you guys to talk about.
Yeah.
And then it's just the same thing. And there's never, ever going to be any, like, let's just move along and let's acknowledge that maybe we all come from different places with either different parenting or different situations in our life that force us to come to why we make the decisions that we make. And maybe somebody we met as a teenager introduced us to something that we know nothing about. And all of a sudden now you're getting a chance to see this person live their life. So your thoughts about this potential subject is going to change forever, where maybe other people who didn't experience that won't have those thoughts. Maybe we just need to understand that, we're all just fucking different humans, dude. We're all from different places. We can all get along. We can disagree and still move along. How you doing? Keep it moving. And instead, it feels like that politics world, now that it's in our world because Aaron's in it, I just would like for something maybe just to give at some point and just be like, you know what? I don't agree with you, but cool. We should still be able to do this and get this on. We can kind of give and take, but what the fuck do I know? I just interviewed a guy about vaccination statuses in a tank top.
Well, I mean, I think this will continue to go on, the whole COVID situation, and it's bizarre, everything that surrounds it. I do feel like, and I don't know, like where, because it's like a bigger thing. Like he's like everything, he could have dove into 30 different conversations about other stuff that you could tell he's passionate about. Like when it comes to all of this surrounding, like just not just COVID, obviously, but when he goes back, can you imagine like what's going to happen on the sidelines pregame? Like can you imagine how many cameras on him and people? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be weird.
Oh, it's Aaron Rodgers, so it's always like that. But now it's the entire world. There's probably going to be politicians that are going to come out and speak about this entire thing, and it's going to become
I'm glad he at least said it. I'm glad he at least, explained his side of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how could you listen to what he said there and not just be like, oh, okay, I think he's wrong, but fuck it. All right. Yeah. But like how instead people listen and they just go, no, I hate him. No, I'm going to kill it. Like that is, I think, what he was talking about in there a little bit. Like, you can disagree with me, but this is, I have an allergy for two of them. I did the research into this one, and it's like, that kind of scared me. And by the way, I did a lot of the same research whenever I decided to get the vaccine, so I understand that people potentially looking at, he made a different decision than I did, which was definitely one that I potentially thought about for a little bit, and I do not take care of my body. My weight fluctuates from 220 to 285 on a yearly basis, so that's just potentially the case, but it's just, he's Aaron fucking Rodgers. He's the MVP of the NFL. Ty Schmidt, one of the owners of the Green Bay Packers, has a couple shares. It means he can go to a meeting in the training camp portion of the season. Ty, your takeaway from that and your thoughts on how that whole thing went and the reaction to it.
Well, it's tough that, like a lot of the stuff you see, like people who are big time fans of him but don't agree with his decision, his vaccination status. Like, it'll turn someone off who's been a fan of his for 10 plus years just completely. And it's so like that. The fact that it's that volatile and stuff like that, like, again, it just goes back to, like, it sucks that when it comes to this, and the timing of it, like them coming off that big win on Thursday night, big game against the Chiefs, him versus Mahomes, like, it almost just makes it, so much more explosive. And, like, with a guy like Cole Beasley, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, like, people know he's not vaccinated, but that kind of went away for the most part. Like, with Rodgers, like, that's not the case. Like, this is going to be a talking point for forever. The rest of the season. I mean, so it's wild.
Hey, what I think his biggest point he was trying to make about it was the draconian protocols, and that was the word he used, I believe. Did I say it right?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Big boy word right there, by the way. Hey, the draconian protocols that he was trying to, I think, put a spotlight on, and there was a debate yesterday, obviously, rightfully so, about the Kyrie Irving reaction, where the NBA in the cities basically forced Kyrie Irving to make a decision publicly on whether or not he was going to get vaccinated or not get vaccinated. So he was thrusted into a position of being a leader of the people that maybe don't want to get the shot. And in the NFL, obviously, Aaron is abiding by the protocols. He didn't have to be forced to say, I am vaccinated or not vaccinated. Now, the coverage, whether it was in Jay Will, I'm a big fan of Jay Will. I love Jay Will. I'm a big fan of Jay Will. And everything he said, I think rightfully, justly so, if that's how he viewed it or whatever the case was. But I think it is two very different situations where Aaron didn't have to say it, right? So he didn't. But I also don't think Kyrie nor Aaron wanted to be the face of this. I don't think that is something.
Definitely not. I don't think either of them. That was their goal.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Now, ultimately, in the end, they were both kind of forced into doing it, right? They're kind of being forced into being the face of this. And Aaron is getting championed now hard by people. I mean, there is, hey, we're talking about a heavyweight fight right now in the mentions. We're talking about the political, even some blue check marks in the political world have come in. And they're like sitting back, timing that whole thing. I mean, it is.
I bet Keith Olbermann's happy. Is he happy?
I don't know if Keith Olbermann has weighed in yet. I would assume he will.
He will. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to weigh in, though. And that's why I almost felt like, hey, I got to try to at least, ask some questions that other people would ask because I have the opportunity. But that whole thing about him saying, if I would have been asked a follow-up question about immunized, and then he described, by the way, what time frame that was, which, by the way, it was. It was almost like everybody in the NFL, wristbands were a big conversation. Remember Bruce Arians, there was a red wristband that he said, he actually had to come out and say, the wristband ain't fucking outside, it's inside. Something like that, because that's how much people wanted to know who had it, who didn't have it. So I'm surprised now thinking back to that point in time, and I should have done more research about the time frame it was in. Aaron obviously knows it because he was living it or whatever, but I wonder why the immunized did slide there. Do you think it's because the people that were in the room were just like, oh, that was a big-ass word. I think it's in that area. Yeah, it means the same thing. We're going to move on. And why I don't know. That's just something.
I would assume, don't you think they assumed he was standing up there at his presser not wearing a mask, so they probably assumed, like we don't need to follow up.
Oh, and then they're also saying that he said, at the beginning. He said, I'm immunized. So I should ask more about that. But even they should ask the follow-up.
Yeah. Hey, that was Rob Domofsky, I think, that asked him that, and Rob put it on his Twitter. I saw Rob on Greeny a couple days ago, and even Rob said, he said, that I guess we should have followed up on that. That's on us in the media. Like he admitted that. He probably could have followed up.
So I'd like to let everybody know it's watching. It's potentially in the media, and there's no way they're watching now. No way they're watching now. But if this message gets to them, I tried my best. I didn't know what else I was supposed to do. That world of the politics and the vaccination and the, draconian, my mind almost blew up in the middle of the interview. I did try to at least ask some of the questions that were potentially being wrote about in the sports world the last couple of days, and he sat in the pocket.
Yeah.
Hey, if it means anything, he sat in there, just like it's a Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, except for this week because he's out because COVID protocols are draconian in his words. You know, he sat in there. He stared that thing right down.
Yeah, I would assume he didn't want to have to get into all of that, but this presented itself when he tested positive, and then this all comes out. Yeah, he's like, all right, well, I have to at least come on here and explain myself.
Well, this is what he did too. He said, "Where's my fucking notes?" All right. Mm-hmm. He picked up this much there. Hey, and by the way that conversation came to be with Aaron there, it looked like that's what he was potentially.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at this! I got 30 more fucking studies here if I wanted to go to, but we don't have time. Do we have time? I was like, yeah, we do. I actually looked at my watch. If you go back. We do have time, dude, for you, whatever the case is. But, yeah, I think he was, when he texted me, yo, okay? So I'd sent my best wishes. You know, like, hey, I had COVID. The first 36 hours were no fun for me. It was not fun at all. It was achy. It was the chills. It was, 104.5-degree fever, so the sweating and everything was bad. I sent him like hey, hope everything's okay. Hope you get through this well. Well wishes, my friend. And if you'd like to come on the show and maybe tell your side of this thing, let me know. He thanked me for the well wishes. And then it was like kind of just no things. I was like, okay, so this is not going to happen. All right. Okay, you do what you got to do. Now everybody's going to tell your story. Like in my head, I was thinking this. Everybody's going to tell your story. You're not going to tell it. And then yesterday, and I guess it's because he probably didn't feel good now that we're kind of looking back on it. But he sent me a yo, and then it was like a maybe. And then all of a sudden this morning, he was like, let's go ahead and do it. So I appreciate him, allowing us to be the place that he said that at. But I'm going to be catching some ricochet shots probably the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years.
Yeah, that's all right. It's a no-win. Like no matter what, no matter how many questions or what you ask, like it's a no-win situation. But yeah, at least he got to sit there and feel like he could speak without being interrupted for a while.
They say life's a no-win situation.
Who says that?
Losers.
I would never say that.
People.
No, just politics is a no-win situation. Yeah. I think our friend that ended up running, former Buckeye, former Colt, I think he found that out too. So
good luck, guys.
Hey, good luck. What are you saying? That politics world is so real. I don't know how anybody gets in there because I don't like feeling terrible. I enjoy having a good time. I don't like the whole.
I don't like being in conflict with people all the time either.
All the time. I have too much okay, I guess, yeah. And then
I don't care about most things. That's the problem. Okay, cool. See ya.
Okay, I could right now, like I do on Twitter, where I report people. So this person, well, just like if they're saying terrible things,
egregious people.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to report this person and I'm going to block this person. I feel like I'm doing the world a favor. Like, hey, Twitter, I'm helping Twitter out. This person.
What happens when you report them though? Do they do something?
I don't know. I like to think that maybe because I am pretty active on the Twitter, that they maybe even listen, like, hey, I'm potentially a police. And
not after that interview. They're not going to be high on you.
Well, are we still on YouTube? That is.
Yeah, well, for now.
For real. That's a real question, honestly.
I was reading some things, while the whole world was doing its thing, because we do, YouTube is our home. Like, YouTube is our actual. We have no relationship with YouTube other than what everybody else's relationship with YouTube would be, aside from a person that we can ask questions on why the fuck our shit's not being seen.
Yeah.
That is basically our relationship. But they are our home. Like all the sales that we do for this show, advertisements for this show, it's all here. Now, Sirius licenses a YouTube show, but it is a YouTube show. This is what I'm so thankful for YouTube, because the other places that wouldn't give this show a chance, we were able to just say, fuck it, we'll do it ourselves. And YouTube provides that for people. YouTube gives so much money to creators, and YouTube is an incredible platform. I love it. Now, if Twitch and Amazon said, "Hey, what are you doing? How you doing? We want to give you something ridiculous," it would be definitely a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'd be over there for the bits. I mean, maybe if it was ridiculous, but I love the YouTube platform. So then whenever there was rumors about potentially being deplatformed, if you speak about any of the vaccines or COVIDs or anything going on in the political world, which is shit I know nothing about, I immediately made the quick decision in my head, oh, that's cool. I don't know shit about it, and it would ruin the business. Okay, so I'm not even gonna, that's not our role, that's not our thing. So this conversation, I think we just dove really, we made up for all the lost time. I think we made up for all the lost time. So I'll be excited to see how the YouTube handles that whole thing. Joining us now is another YouTube person.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's one of his jobs. Two of his jobs actually do involve YouTube. One for himself, one for a company.
Okay, that's right.
In which he goes live every Monday, Wednesday. He has 24 podcasts, but the MMA Hour is really his bread and butter. To tell us about what's going on tomorrow at the UFC and maybe what's happening in the world as a whole. The least favorite guest on this show by everybody in here and our fans, ladies and gentlemen, Ariel Helwani. Oh, jeez. Yeah.
I mean, guys, first of all,
what are you doing?
As you know, it's been a trying week for old Helwani. In my feelings, I've been stabbed in the back, left, right, and center. Now, Patrick calls me up earlier today, says, we've got a crap show, a crap lineup. We've got horrible guests. Can you help us boost the ratings? Now, please come on after the not-so MVP Aaron Rodgers, because we'll need to have a bit of a palate cleanse, okay? I'll just say Josh Allen would never. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
I said, hey, Patrick, I'll do you a favor. I'm busy. I got my Ringer MMA show. I got the MMA Hour. I got all my things that I got going on now. I mean, pretty much making 10 times what I was making 6 months ago, but that's neither here nor there. Patrick, I'll do you a favor. At 2:05, I'll be here. I'll come with the Helwani gear. I'll lift everyone's spirits up. I'll take this show out of the gutter that it was just residing in, and I'll help you all out.
Yeah.
2:23, I get the hot tag. Now, standing here holding the rope, waiting for the hot tag. It's 1987 Saturday night's main event. No one wants to hear this song and dance, okay? No one wants to hear what was going on before, and I'm not even touching it. If we want to talk about the world being the shape of a Rubik's Cube, we could talk about that, but I thought this was a sports show. Now, Patrick, you and I have come a long way over the last few months. You were there for me on Wednesday in my time of need.
Hear, hear.
My former best friend, Daniel Cormier, stabbed me in the back. He kicked me while I'm down. He spit on my grave. He kicked me in the balls. He did all those things
Really?
and then some. I'll tell you two individuals who would never do that to me. It's that man, AJ Hawk, I needed to know which way I was pointing, and that man, Patrick McAfee. And so we're friends. In fact, on Monday's episode of the MMA live at 1 p.m. Eastern, I am going to immortalize Patrick on my wall. On my wall of fame, I'm going to immortalize him for what he did for me on Wednesday. But I have to admit, after this sorry display of friendship, me sitting here for 20 minutes like a bride at the altar wearing this ridiculous outfit, I didn't feel too good about our friendship, Patrick.
Hey, hold on. I would like to let you know that I'm sorry to hear about what happened with you in DC. Honestly, we're a big fan of you guys together. He made you better. You made him better. DC and RC is awesome, though. Daniel Cormier, incredibly talented guy, double champ, obviously. The show is incredible. But I thought you two, hey, listen, you could always have success apart from each other. It doesn't have to be beef. He was busy. That's why I didn't come see you. You don't need to put me in the spot of DC, please. That is all good.
I'm putting you in any spot I want to put you, okay?
No, you're not. Don't put me in your fucking studio.
DC forgot where he came from. He got a little too big for his britches, all right? He thinks he's at the worldwide leader. He's living life. He's stuffing his face with chicken tenders. He should be ashamed of himself.
What is that? Stuffing it? No, what does that mean, stuffing his face? We're not a body shame show.
Oh, stop it with this, all right? I don't know what is going on over there. This show used to be one of my favorite shows. Now it's become a poor excuse for a show. Save us, AJ Hawk. Save us. I don't know what's going on. I lost it when, Mr. Not-So MVP said I consulted with Joe Rogan. Can we talk about that? That nonsense? Okay, you had me up until that point, buddy. But come on. I consulted with Joe Rogan. I consulted with the UPS guy.
UPS guy isn't making, like 80 mil a year and probably has access to a lot of the highest, but I understand what you're saying.
I mean, golly. You had us there for a second, and then you start consulting with podcasters? Come on.
Hold on. So that is that's because you are a journalist, like actual journalist. You used to be. I don't know if you're wearing a luchador mask right now. But
that's right.
Yeah, but is that probably what I'm going to take shit on, you think, for that? Because I immediately followed.
You better hope that's the only part you take. I mean, golly. Hey, has Nick Khan called yet? I don't know if that's 8 p.m. start is on your schedule, Daddy-O.
I don't know. What do you have? Let's move along to what you know about, please. Jesus.
I mean, golly, I had to sit here and listen to that for the last hour waiting for my hot tag. Hey, Evan, you should have tagged me in earlier for God's sake.
Hey, Helwani, I'd like to let you know, speaking of sinking, we were once at 76,000 today.
Yeah.
What are we at now?
15, I think.
Yeah, I think we're going down to 7, maybe.
Seven.
There's a very easy joke to make right here now, but I'm not going to go there. You opened the door to one of the all-time great comebacks, but I can't go there right now because I've said too much.
Thanks for being a professional.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about what you actually know about. You're going to keep it on. Okay. You don't even know nothing about the Bills.
I know everything about the Bills, all right? Let me tell you something about the Buffalo Bills. We are doing what the kids like to call playing possum. Are you familiar with a little term called rope-a-dope? Everyone in the National Football League thinks we're not that good. Everyone thinks they got us on our heels.
What? Hey, listen, maybe when you watched the Bills 20-some years ago, that was the case. It's not like that.
Hey, just wait till it gets a little more nipply over there in Orchard Park. Just wait what's going to happen. A little 1-2 to the face. Tell him, AJ. Tell him right now. Tell him what's going to happen.
I hope so, Ariel. I hope it does that. You think they're going to be all right? You think the Bills are going to win it all this year?
Hey, do me a favor. Clip this off. Send it to all the jabrones out there on your Twitter feed. Right. Let Ian Rappaport know and everyone else. All right? The Buffalo Bills are winning the Super Bowl come February. They're doing it. It's happening. And by the way, make sure not to tag the Buffalo Bills Twitter account because they're a bunch of haters. All right? They never give me the rub. So don't tag them. You know who you have to tag? Tag my guy, Mongo Feliciano, my man. Yeah. My only friend on the Buffalo Bills. I will root for them till I die, but I'm starting to get annoyed of their hating tactics, all right?
It seems like everybody's against you and might have to start looking in the mirror at some point. But let's talk about the Buffalo Bills social media.
I'm victim Helwani.
No.
Dana White said it himself. He called me the victim. I'm the victim. So guess what? I'm going to get a T-shirt made, Victim Helwani, and wear it proudly. Because guess what? When they have a name for you in the business of mixed martial arts reporting, they don't call you the best in the business. They call you Victim Helwani.
All right. All the Helwanis that you are, I think, are becoming slowly more insufferable. But I do have to ask you about the Buffalo Bills not tweeting you and you hating them. What's that? Is that because you've only been a fan for like 2 or 3 months?
No, it's a pretty good comeback, Patrick.
I opened the door. Right? Because potentially the Bills saw Ariel Helwani like, oh, hey, let's go Jets.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go Jets. And stuff like that. That's what the Bills. Bills social media has eyes, Helwani. They're looking through.
I would never say that. In fact, I used to talk about you when you were playing on that loser franchise that stole their team from the Baltimore people. But I've never said, let's go Jets. Never said, let's go Jets. Middle of the night. We all know what happened. Never said, let's go Jets, Patriots, Giants, all that stuff. Never said it. I've been a diehard fan. In fact, I've been the classiest Bills fan of the last 2 decades. When everyone's wearing Zubaz pants and jumping through flaming hot tables, I'm here trying to class up the joint, and I can't get
why you stink.
Yeah,
that's why you stink. That's why you stink. You stink. That's why the Buffalo Bills say we ain't tweeting this guy at all. Yeah. Making fun of Zubaz, Pit Vipers, tables.
I'm not from Western New York.
Oh, you stink. Well, let's talk about what you actually know about, by the way.
I know about everything.
Ariel, why don't you...
Go ahead.
Hey, you should get some Bills colored Bildos and put your name on it and throw them on the field. It'll be great advertising.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
That's a good thing.
Hey, Jay,
that's marketing.
Did you just ask me to get a Bills colored dildo? What is going on here?
No, I said dildo.
He's not even a fan.
Yeah, you don't get it.
You don't even know what a dildo. You're not even a fan.
What a fraud.
I mean,
double headers you could.
Listen, I know everything about anything. You want to ask me about politics? We'll talk politics right now. You want to talk about, what do you want to talk about?
Who's right?
What do you want to talk about?
Who's right in all the politics, Ariel?
Who's right? Let me tell you something. I'm from. Please hold just 1 second.
Oh, Trudeau! Don't put your Trudeau costume on.
Oh,
Jesus!
Shit, Canada. Okay, and we don't get into this whole left-right nonsense that you guys get into. Okay, we love each other. Despicable country, USA. Okay. Let me tell you something. It's despicable. Shoot. Can I shoot for a second? Let me shoot right here.
No, you
Political
have a
media.
luchador mask on. You have a Canadian flag over your head, which is over top of a hoodie and a Buffalo Bill. Go ahead. Hey, let's take you serious for a second.
I don't consume any of this nonsense because it's ridiculous. The number one rule that I was taught when I walked through the doors of the greatest journalism school in America, the Syracuse University over there in the 315, right? I got a degree on my wall that says I could speak about these things. It said, don't have any biases. Have ethics, have no bias. And for some reason, people in the political media sphere think that it's okay to have biases. It's ridiculous. Okay. If I went on ESPN and started talking about, I want Justin Gaethje to win, I want Rose Namajunas to win, they would fire me if I went on it, because you're not supposed to have a bias when you're a journalist. Yet for some reason, in the topic that is supposed to affect the people the most, politics, health, this and stuff, you go on these channels and they all have biases. So they can all kick rocks. They're all a bunch of jabrones. If you want the truth, you come to this man right here, the man with the largest nose, the biggest arms, and the smartest mind in the business, 10-7, Helwani, all day, every day.
I thought you were talking about the Pat McAfee show. That was an incredible shoot, though, right there. I appreciate you saying that because that's a real thing, because I do not have a degree, and I do not follow that world as much. But I don't know how everybody can be as
biased,
have the competitive stamina that they have. That's what I'll use JJ Redick's description. I think others have used it. I don't know how both sides can have the competitive stamina to continue to yell at each other and not just get to a point where it's like, hey, you might be different than me. Let's just go ahead and move along. That's an NFL locker room, by the way. That's sports. Sports are very similar in that fashion. Like, I think that's where the sports world could potentially help out the politics world. I understand the politics world is so much more serious than what we have, okay? What those humans do is insane. And I am just a sports stooge and all that. But when you walk into like an NFL locker room, this has been said ad nauseum at this point, but it is so true. You have sons of millionaires in there, and then you have literally people that were homeless on the streets throughout their entire high school. Then you have people from the Northeast, South Florida, Compton, all the way up to the Pacific Northwest and all the towns in between, and a lot Hawaii now. I mean, everybody has these differing opinions because they have differing backgrounds, differing experiences, differing lives. But you're able to have a conversation, still befriend these people, and be able to come together and rally towards one common goal. Like, I don't know how that happens in the world of yelling at each other all the time, but it would be dope if it was able to take place. And I think the reason and the way to end this whole thing, and we've said this before, we just need a scoreboard.
That's right.
Hey, politics needs a scoreboard.
Easy.
And we need to figure out what a point is, what isn't a point, who's lying, who's not lying. They just need a scoreboard so that we can treat people accordingly. Okay, hey, hey, motherfucker, you're the Lions.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, you're the Lions. We ain't listening to you. You are the Lions, sir. You just lost 44-6, and you had to bury the defensive film. I don't want to hear from you to talk to me about what defensive football looks like. That is what should happen in the politics world. Hey, you have fucked up for 35 years. I don't need to hear anything out of you. I don't need any more. But there's no chance of that ever happening because the scoreboard is always moving. The goalposts change on both sides. It's always just a never-ending shit show, Ariel. And that's my entire take on the real world outside of sports.
Hey, Bubba Gump, Evan, the rest of the crew, do me a favor. Clip that part off the next commercial break that you guys go to, which will then tank your ratings. I mean, who goes to a commercial break after a massive exclusive? Put that soliloquy up there because it was pretty good work out of Patrick. It was good work. It was honest. It was authentic work out of Patrick. I agree with most of what you said, but at the bottom line is this. Just have a spine. Be honest and don't be biased. And don't be unethical and don't have an agenda. And it's amazing to me that if Joe Buck goes on television, people accuse him of being pro-Cowboys, pro this, pro that. And we're talking about something as useless as sports, right?
Yeah.
And he calls it like we see it. And now you have guys on television talking about life or death matters, political matters, all this stuff, and they have open biases. In what universe are these people living in? It's ridiculous. Do me a favor, though. If you want to talk politics, if you want to shoot on these things, call me up anytime. I'll educate you. I'll make you feel smarter. But don't reference third-rate podcasters when you do so, because let me tell you, all credibility goes out the window. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Can we please talk about why you're in a
You gonna
mask?
no-sell me on that? I thought that was a pretty good one. No? You guys going to no-sell me on that?
That
was Thanks, sweet. Guys.
Hey, we'll edit it. We'll edit it in post. We'll be able to chop those things. That was incredible. This was a really good conversation. Never would have expected it with a man dressed the way you're dressed, or a man that is dressed the way I'm dressed. To
That's the beauty of the show, right? I mean, that's the show right there.
Show's stupid, yeah. Shows a lot of things. Bad, mostly. But, yeah, also a chance of luchador mask and a tank top. We'll get into a full discussion about journalism ethics. And that was just happened. I can't thank you enough for
I love it.
Yeah, for being a AJ, can we ask him, please, about
Yes.
Usman
I wanna
Covington?
ask, this is perfect, actually. Ariel, this is perfect. I didn't go to Syracuse. I don't have the degree you had, but we're talking about all this polarizing political stuff. Colby Covington, third fight against Usman. Colby Covington, very pro-Trumper, public persona, all of this stuff. How do you think this fight goes, and does everybody want Colby to get beat?
No, I certainly don't think. I think there's about 75 million people in this country who are probably rooting for Colby Covington, if you get what I'm trying to say. Now, I will say the best gimmicks are the ones that evolve over time. The gimmick is a bit 2017, if you ask me. It got evolved, didn't show up with the Make America Great Again hat, showed up with the NYPD hat, so a bit of an evolution there. But I still think the lines need a little working on. You know what I'm saying? That being said, he's the second best welterweight in the world. He's an incredible fighter. He deserves a lot of respect. And he's fighting a guy who beat him in 2019. If you haven't seen that fight, the first fight was fantastic. 2-2 going into the fifth. I think Kamaru won fair and square. This idea that that Colby was robbed, that he was cheated, all this stuff. No, it was a fine stoppage. These things happen in MMA. Now, here's a very interesting thing. Since that last fight, Kamaru Usman has been very active. He has fought, off the top of my head, 3 times. 3 times? Yeah, 3 times off the top of my head. And so this is a guy who not only has been more active than Colby, who has only fought once, he's changed camps, he's changed coaches, he's also, oh, by the way, a much more improved striker. And so I think the layoff is a really big story going into this fight. I think the fact that Usman has evolved, he's been active, this is his 3rd fight of the year. He fought Gilbert Burns in February, he fought Jorge Masvidal in April, and now Colby in November. Guess how many fights Colby has in 2021?
How many?
I mean, the same amount of people who were watching your last interview. 0. You know what I'm talking about?
I thought he had
No
76,000 fights. I was about to say that
no,
motherfucker's got to have CTE.
Wow.
He's got to have CTE. It's
anyone could do that.
76,000 fights in 1 year. Got to have CTE. Beast. I didn't know
anyone
Dana
could
was
do
going
that
to throw
sort
him
of
in.
thing. You get the point. I think activity, but it's a great fight. It's happening at the Mecca, the world's most famous arena, the home of the 2022 NBA champion New York Knickerbockers. Not only that, we have Patrick's new best friend, Thug Rose Namajunas, defending her title in the co-main event, underdog as of right this moment, against Zhang Weili, the person that she knocked out in the co-main event back in April. Pat, have you made? Everyone wants to know. Have you made the donation yet or not yet?
I'm pretty sure, yes. Phil sent it over. Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Oh, well, I mean, that's a mensch. I haven't checked. I mean, this is not me calling you out. I mean, you do whatever you want. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. That was a mensch move on your part. I called Rose afterwards. She was almost on the verge of tears. It meant a lot to her that you would do that. She had no idea.
Hey, no problem, Thug Rose. No problem at all. Hey, I'm happy she's doing something awesome. I was lucky to be a part of it. I appreciate that.
No idea who you were. I had to educate her on.
I understand.
On
She's
you.
focused on fighting. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Massive AJ Hawk mark, believe it or not, but no idea who you were.
That makes sense. That guy's all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. But yeah, you were selling some pretty well-designed hoodies, I guess. You were selling in there and then raising money for.
You want some? You rock it?
I'll take one, Ariel. XL.
Let's go, AJ. I got one with your name. I'll send you a heel wani. I'll send you a freaking thug nose.
Hey, supply chain, if we want to get into it. I don't know if you're going to be able to just send all those things. He might get them. He might get them for his birthday.
He's doing through Canada probably.
Oh, no. I've got a great crew behind me, BreakingT.com. They're doing great things. We are in this together. I mean, and by the way, every single cent going to charity, building this Earthship school in Haiti. Every single cent of the Helwani shirts going to No Kid Hungry. Listen, I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular victim trying to make it in America, all right? I ain't coming on here to talk about, vaccines and politics and left and right.
So don't.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, yeah.
By the way, what are the chances Aaron Rodgers is now watching this and is like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, he has no idea who you are, for sure. And guess what? He knew who me and AJ were. So that's a little bit of a...
But I'll say this. If you're watching... You ain't no Josh Allen, baby. You ain't no Josh Allen, baby.
Go ahead, Connor. You're an idiot.
Yeah, Helwani, what's your gripe with Hasbulla? Because I saw you taking shots at him when Pat was on your show.
That's right. Listen, you can't sit on the fence, all right? You have to be one side or the other. There's Hasbulla, which everyone, is riding him right now, jumping on the bandwagon, or there's my main man, Abdul. 10-7 Abdul all day. You saw the hand speed. You saw the foot movement. You saw the tenacity in their little tete-a-tete after UFC 267. I got to pick a side. Listen, you can accuse me of a lot of things, but you will never accuse me as a fence rider, all right? I'm picking a side. And historically in my life, when everyone zigs, I zag, all right? So everyone's backing that horse. I'll back the winning horse. That horse's name is Abdul.
Yeah, hey, listen, when everybody zigs, you zag. Came back to YouTube. Get Abdul. Let's go. Let's go ahead and have a hell of a run.
What is that supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean?
A kind of follower.
No, I'm not a follower. I'm a pioneer. I've been on YouTube.
You're a clown, so...
you were getting arrested when I was on YouTube, all right? You were getting publicly intoxicated when I was on YouTube.
I was on YouTube then, too.
Hey, listen, I'm a trailblazer, all right? I've been doing this long before most. Dare I say, you were in your father's nutsack.
Why? Don't you talk about Tim's nuts. We got to get to a break.
That's a Henzo Gracie line, by the way. Shout out to Henzo Gracie.
No, shout out to Henzo Gracie and also the other 10,000 people that have used that. Hey, shout out, though. Shout out to legit, he could beat my ass. Shout out to any Gracie. All right, I seen, even back in the day before the rules, whenever he was just in the gi down there.
Can I ask you a question, Patrick, or do you have to go to a break? Very quick question. Have you ever been asked...
We're good.
This is serious. Have you ever been asked to pay for an interview?
What's that?
Have you ever reached out to someone, talked to a guest, and said, "Hey, come on the show"? And the guy's like, or the gal is like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come on if you pay me."
No,
he pays everybody, I think, right?
No,
you don't pay everybody.
No, you don't say. If somebody said it to me, I wouldn't do it. I present though with some, depending upon what I want to do, because it's like a rev share situation. So like if somebody said to me, "You need to pay me," there would be an immediate fuck off. There'd be immediate. It would be an immediate right back the other way. Did somebody do that to you?
First time in 15 years covering the great sport of MMA. Yesterday,
No,
I don't want to name names.
Thank God.
But I have been lucky enough. We're in the
bathroom.
We're gonna be off anyway.
I've been lucky enough to interview everyone from Royce Gracie to John Jones to Daniel Cormier to Conor McGregor at the height of it all, and it has never even been hinted, even like whispered, "Hey, if you could break me off a little something, I'd appreciate it." Yesterday, for the first time, someone asked for payment, and I'm still floored by the whole thing. So I just wanted to know, am I crazy, or do you feel the same way? Apparently, you feel the same way. That's just not how this game works. You don't pay for interviews.
Well, also we had 76,000 people watching at one point today. And I know you're putting up good numbers too.
Yeah.
So there is benefit to be had by both sides. And I think that is something that a lot of people potentially don't understand. And that is, you kind of have to just realize that that's how some people are going to feel, and they're idiots, and you just kind of move on. Now, I don't.
Yeah, there's the platform. Yeah. I mean, look, the payment that you give me for this isn't great, but I don't keep my mouth. I don't open my mouth. But
all right, ladies and gentlemen, Ariel Helwani. Thank you, dude. Rev splits and all that shit, it's like internet blueprint. Like, hey, this is how if we make money, let's make money. You get a piece of that whole thing. But when somebody, like, hey, you want to come on the show? $250, 10 minutes.
Does that happen?
It's happened to me twice, yeah.
Oh, why would DC do that to Hill-Wanda?
Yeah, that's awesome. They did that. That is awesome. All right, we're back in about 4 minutes, wrapping up this beautiful Feel Good Friday, November 5th, 2021. Cannot wait to maybe take some phone calls. We got Coach JB in the after hours at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. And then we'll go through the entire slate. And then I got to hop on a plane and fly to Evansville, Indiana for SmackDown. Hope you're having an incredible Friday. I believe it's hot in the kitchen right now on my Twitter, and I can't wait to check it out. See you in Fort. Montana, Italian-American out of Western Pennsylvania.
It was a kidnapping attempt of his infant grandchild.
Yeah, in the house. They came into the house, right?
Yeah.
And then he was sitting on top of the stairs. He was like, put the baby down. And they said no. And he said, ah! And they said, no, I'm taking your granddaughter. He said, ah! And they said, I'm taking it. He goes, you asked for it. Skechers up, Skechers down. Yeah. Dart.
There's no way.
Then he ran down the stairs, and the baby caught the baby, caught the granddaughter after the beak of the lady that was trying to snatch the baby passed out. It was like one of those, boom, and they like dropped it. And Joe Montana, he actually slid down the stairs.
Head first.
You know, like that, how people surf almost down the stairs. He did that and caught his granddaughter like this, and then he picked up the ball, and he actually put foot on kidnapping suspect, called the police with his Bluetooth and waited there.
Unbelievable.
That's fucking Joe Montana, dude.
That's right.
Today's event is me versus a Carolina Reaper pepper. A pepper that has what?
2.2 million Scoville on average. I think it's pretty much the hottest pepper in the world.
In comparison, a jalapeno is
6,000 Scoville.
For every second after it is in my mouth, I don't grab this milk. We'll give $25 to a random person in the comment section right now. $4,500 feels like a good amount to give away, though. And that'd be 3 minutes. This is going to be a long 3 minutes.
That's redder than devil's dick. That crunch. How we doing so far? Doesn't look too bad.
I should have taken a drink of water beforehand, though, because I think I had a dry mouth. I had a little cotton mouth.
Oh, okay. Once the hiccups start, I think you're just about done for. What's your biggest regret in life? Do you have 2 more minutes in you?
I think it's just starting to hit like the peak. The curve on this thing is just starting to go up.
You are handling this much better than Bill did, though. You are, yeah. Billy Tubes was puking 10 seconds in. 130. 130.
It burned my esophagus.
Do you feel like you're going to puke?
Oh, I do.
And that milk looks ice cold, too.
No!
Beer that broke my heart. Hey, one more. Yep. Now we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dance with me.
How you feel now?
A little bit better, but not great. Oh, God. That's a bad idea. I need more.
More milk.
Oh, God. Yikes.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys. I'm trying to party like a Pat. Mile High Club, I got the gummies in the back.
I didn't expect this song to come on. That is 100% on me. Welcome back to that show. This Feel Good Friday is powered by Serial One e-bikes. Serial One combines the fun and freedom of a bicycle with the effortless joy of electric power to make you feel like a kid again. Serial One e-bikes are fast.
What?
Sleek.
What?
Smart.
What?
Clean.
What?
All of the above and then some. They have electric assistance up to 28 miles per hour.
Whoa.
All wires are hidden inside the frame. The automatic transmission shift gears for you. Woo. And it has a carbon fiber belt drive, which means there's no chain to fuck around.
Hell yeah.
Serial One's premium e-bikes will change how you move. AJ, we're working on getting yours over to you right now. I was just told by reading this script that I did not read beforehand.
Hey, tell Bruce thank you.
Hey, that boy Bruce.
Hey, thanks, Bruce.
Hey, that boy
Bruce.
Serial One too. They brought 2 of these into the office. They are fucking awesome.
So
awesome.
sweet.
Go like 20, 25, 28 miles an hour, depending upon the version that you get. They recharge. You can go like 50 miles on them, I think.
Slow down in school zones.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to get speeding tickets in particular parts of the neighborhood. You don't have to have a license to drive it.
Wow.
So it just can be your commuter, your get around. I'm going to use it whenever the weather clears up here in Indiana. I can't wait for it. And you can dial it back so you can still get a workout with the assistance. I mean, it is one-stop shop for the greatest bike experience I've ever had. Go online to serial1.com. That's SERIAL1.com. Use code PAT for 10% off your purchase. Flexible financing options are available with no hidden fees. Welcome back to the show. We gave Ariel Helwani quite a rub.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Massive.
We did. Yeah, man. Ariel, he stayed in character the whole time, too, with the mask and everything.
How about the shoot on journalism with the luchador mask on?
Yeah.
That'll get
Ariel had
handled.
honestly, he had some good, I thought he had some good points and a great message.
I think so, too. I mean, and right now, by the way, all those people he talked about are currently sending us emails to try to get rights to use the clips of the interview and everything like that. So Ty is over there crafting the email that we have to send to sports people, but trying to word it for the political sphere as well. So, you know, we have to do this. This is what we have to do every single week. People ask for permission for clips. We send them back an email like, hey, please don't crop it down because you make our show look like it's 1080p. Please don't do that. So, because we are trying to run at least what people think is at least an above average quality program. And some people, you know, kind of run a little rogue. And then the next week we get an email and we go, hey, listen, you can just talk about the clip. You don't have to use the clip. It's okay to use the clip, and we're honored to be a part of it. But please don't make our show look like shit in comparison. Like, that would be great. So those are kind of the give and take emails, and everybody's been very fantastic. Excited to see how the political world handles our emails.
Yeah.
Excited for
Ty,
it.
how's it? Ty, did you get an email from Wolf Blitzer on that? I would
No,
guess?
not
CNN
yet.
is in there.
Oh, well, there you go.
CNN is in there. Fox News is in there. I think MSNBC's in there. I think ABC's in there. Yeah, so ESPN was just running it.
Really? You mean like live?
Yeah.
Yeah, just took the YouTube stream. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We were in so many airports, hotels,
Barbershops.
by restaurants, barbershops, everything, you name it, that whole conversation. It was big. Thanks for using this platform, Aaron. And, you know, I think congrats on just being like, all right, fuck it. That's basically what he did.
Yeah.
That's basically what he did. He just kind of laid it all out. This is how I feel. And I hope everybody got the answers they were at least looking for, and I can't wait to see the fallout from this. And
No, everyone's satisfied with that. It's over now, right?
I think so, yeah.
Never to be talked about again.
That's kind of what we almost wrote back in the email. Like, what are you talking about? It's already handled. That's way over.
There
By
it
the
is.
time you
There it
guys
is.
run this,
There it is, guys. That's all we have. That's all we
6
need,
hours
right?
from now, think about the Friday news dump that's about to take place in about an hour.
Massive. Good point.
This is you don't need our video. Don't worry about it. I feel like it potentially just reignited conversation.
Oh, yeah. Big one. Big conversation.
Sure feels like it, dude. I love Twitter. I
man.
love my Twitter.
The weeds are
I
awesome.
enjoy Twitter. Like, I enjoy going in there. You know, I feel like I've muted the proper amount of people. It's not a maximum amount, but if you mute a couple people, like your entire experience on the internet changes. If you mute 10 people that are normally the worst in your feed, that's 3 scrolls.
Yeah.
Okay, think about that. That is how many tweets that is. So I've crafted it in a way where I'm like, hey, it's a good time. I stay in my lane. I talk about my world. I'm now experiencing how some people experience Twitter, I think, because it is political.
Just bullets flying everywhere.
Everybody's taking one. Now, I'm getting ricochet shots, obviously, through there.
Oh, yeah.
But the things that are being said about Aaron and for Aaron, I don't know if I don't think he should open a bird app. I don't think Aaron should open a bird app right
Can
now.
really feel for Gonzo, too, right now.
Yeah, this is what Gonzo lived.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. All right, well, Sirius, I apologize for whatever happened and how you felt about today. I hope you thought it was an above average show, at least for you.
What are you talking about? Sirius has to be juiced.
Well, it did come from youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show, also, licensed onto Sirius XM. But we went into it. No, we actually hit the hard
out. Oh, yeah, hit the hard out.
Oh, yeah.
The whole thing.
We did it. And there's another one coming 10 seconds from now. Chris Mad Dog Russo from Mad Dog Sports Radio is going to be on the other side of this break. AJ, you think his show's going to be better? Probably, definitely.
He might react to a few of the things he said.
Oh, good afternoon.
Almost.
I thought I was going to get it in there.
They need a full minute for that. That guy's electrifying.
Oh, yeah.
He's been on the air for 50 years at this point. He still brings the juice every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
It's Mad Dog.
He's sitting on his couch all by himself, pissed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Heated.
That's amazing, dude. I have so much respect for that. What? What
That'd be fun to see, to just picture him losing his mind on his couch. Where's the mic? I need a mic. I gotta tell people.
He does. I mean, that's kind of the setup they have for him. He has a headset on, and then he sits on a couch, takes some calls, and then he just loses. It's awesome. It's actually kind of great clips.
I'm thinking when he's not on air, though, when he wants to be. Like if it's a Saturday or something.
Just voice record.
I can't wait to get to this.
Pick him up and put him down. Let's go to the 5 Energy Fun Line before we have Coach JB joining us. I'm intrigued to hear about my plane situation.
Oh, what happened?
Well, there was a technical thing that happened on the, I guess, the plane that was supposed to take me down to Evansville. And by the way, going into this 26-minute flight or something like that, I thought something's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
So this feels like this is way too easy. This universe is probably going to tell me you should drive 3 hours instead of just doing what you're doing here. But then how come I have to miss the after hours on Feel Good Friday every single Friday?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because this is a day where I could potentially enjoy a little Feel Good Friday, a little fallout to the week, have a conversation probably with Coach JB, go through our NFL slate, and then hop on a plane, still making him plenty enough time to call an incredible smackdown tonight.
Hell yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Well, it's because I knew there was probably going to be a technical issue. And they had to shuffle it out, another plane coming. I mean, I will make it on time with plenty of time, but it does appear that the departure time has been set back a bit.
Did this problem arise before or after Aaron's interview?
During.
Oh, no.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Because I 75 text messages, obviously, throughout today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Had one friend that was walking through an airport actually text me and say a picture of us on the screen and said, it's going down. And then I don't know if he stuck around to read the captions, the closed captions of what was going. Would have loved to seen that.
Oh.
Did I swear? I said a holy shit one time. And I thought to myself, probably not able to. Whatever the case. Yeah, it was big. And then I found out the plane probably wasn't going to work that I was supposed to fly on, too. I mean, there's a lot going on, but lucky to be here, lucky to do it.
You know what we forgot to
Got
ask
some
him
time. What's that?
is if he told Gutekunst to claim OBJ.
That's football. Just like he said, the health community is only talking about a shot as opposed to like overall health.
Mm-hmm.
We used to talk to Aaron about a shot as opposed to overall football.
Mm-hmm. Talking about protocols, which is football.
No, we talk about that shot protocols though. Huh. Did we lose our way today? Why didn't we ask him if they were signing Odell Beckham Jr.?
That's a good question.
Hey, Aaron, by the way, the Odell Beckham Jr. thing is genius. Did you hear what's potentially happening? They're restructuring the contract to get a lower amount of money as opposed to the $8.05 million. Allegedly, this is what's happening. Who knows if this is the actual case or not? I'm actually pretty furious that we didn't think of this when we were trying to figure out what the outs would be. They're going to basically change the contract to make some sort of salary a little bit lower. Then they're going to add into that contract game bonuses so that no team will want to pick up the contract because what if they made each game bonus like for every catch you have, we're going to pay you $10 million. So what if he takes that $8.05 million down to $4 million? Okay, I'll take the $4 million automatic hit to get out of here, go somewhere else. They add into that contract $10 million per game played this season so that nobody will be able to pick him up or claim him through the waiver wire. They save money. They save however much money it is. He gets out of there without having to go through the waiver wire and picking his own team. Is that something that every team will do now going forward? That seems like the answer, and I'm very pissed off that we didn't think of it, AJ.
I guess if a team has someone in a situation like this, but I don't see this coming up a whole lot. Do you?
Yeah, who knows what the future looks like? I mean, the game's ever changing. You know,
I mean, it'll happen again, no question. But yeah, the Browns are going to set the tone, I guess, how you can kind of handle these situations, aren't they?
How did we not think of it, though?
I don't know.
I'm bummed about us because we're trying to figure out what they could do.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they negotiate his salary down, then somebody will sign him that he doesn't want to go to. Can't do that. If they negotiate the contract up so nobody will sign him, then they're going to have to pay that. We actually asked if there was an ability to keep it, but then agree to pay something else afterwards. The per game bonus was sitting there the entire time, and we
Genius.
didn't.
I'd
we
like
didn't
to take
think
the excuse that I am not an NFL front office member, employee, contract guy, so that's my excuse on why I didn't think of it.
All right, so I'm happy you can sleep. Connor, what the fuck's your excuse?
I don't have any excuse. I fucked up. I knew I should have had that one, and going forward, I'll take more advantage of that.
That's the right answer, though, for all parties.
Yeah.
They found the answer. They found the answer, which is why it probably happened today. Because they had probably been trying to figure that, hey, your excuse for today while we try to figure out how we can make this a win-win for everybody and not have you end up on the Detroit Lions who are burying games. You know what I mean? Like, that is good. Good for Andrew Berrien.
Hey, yeah, smart man.
I don't know who originally thought of it. I don't know who originally thought of you were still in your nutsack. Yeah. Your father's nutsack.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Gracie that thought of that.
Yeah. Enzo Gracie.
Yeah, shout out.
What a line by that guy.
I've never heard that before.
Never heard that reference. Okay, should we hit some phones?
When's JB coming?
Oh, JB's on in 3 minutes.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
not the gas.
Is he on now?
He is, but he walked away for a second. But if you wanted to probably do some.
Well, that slap dick owes me 20 push-ups.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm joking.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Here, let's answer a call. And then we'll go to JB. Let's go to the 5-Hour Energy phone line. Go to 5hourenergy.com. Use promo code McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Get 10% off your order of incredible 5-Hour Energy.
Oh, yeah.
They got 15 original flavors that taste delicious.
Ooh. So good.
Cherry.
What?
Peach mango.
What?
Watermelon.
Yeah.
What? Tropical.
What? Anyways, let's go to Bobby in Denver. Bobby, bring the energy on the 5-Hour Energy phone line.
How we doing today?
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. All right. Here's my thing. I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers. I'm from Wisconsin. What's up, AJ? So my thing is, we got to leave people alone. Let them do their own thing. It's like a pizza, okay? We all love pizza, but we all like different toppings. But we love pizza. So that's how we should treat this. Let him make his decision. You make your decision. Share the pizza. Have fun together. Let's keep it moving.
All right, Bobby. Gabagool, Bob.
yeah.
Hey, gabagool.
Pepperoni.
We fucking did it.
We did it.
I don't think
That is the metaphor to move our entire world along.
Boom.
Okay?
Yeah, but what if your hand touches my sliced pizza?
Well, fucking keep the single slices to yourself, pal.
Well,
Please,
keep your
I'm getting
hands
a whole
to
pie for me. Keep your grimy, stupid, sausage? You put sausage on that pizza? Is that what you're doing on your
Why?
pizza?
Because I'm Italian? You get mad if I put sausage on pizza?
Hey, I'm Italian too. You should see what I put on there. Gabagool.
Well, I don't like what you put on there.
What you put on your pizza is stupid. You're disgracing pizza with what you are doing to the top of your. Oh, you love.
Your
let me
pizza's
guess.
disgusting.
Let me guess. You
It's
want pineapple
abhorrent.
on your pizza?
I don't want it. I
Oh.
can't even look at it.
You're disgusting. Dude, barbecue sauce. Fuck off, dude.
Oh, I thought you'd put pineapple on your pizza.
Oh, you think my people, the Italians, okay? You think they created pizza for you to do what you're doing to the top of your fucking pizza? You don't even deserve to eat.
You probably cut your pizza in squares.
Me and the Della Sala family do cut our pizzas into squares, and that is actually a
Is
great
that de Blasio?
pizza.
Who was eating it with a knife and fork? The New York guy.
Cuomo?
I think it was
not
Mike
Diggs'
Greenberg.
people. Somebody else.
Mike Greenberg.
Yeah, Mike
I think
Greenberg does
Bloomberg
do
did.
that.
He ate it with a knife and fork or something.
Greeny eats sandwiches with.
Yeah.
Sandwiches.
He's a clown.
What a loser.
I don't know. I
think
just remember seeing him. He did
I heard he
something
eats
somewhere.
his Snickers like that too.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What a
smart.
freak.
Are you kidding me right now? Are you eat shaming, dude? This is on this platform.
You're a scumbag.
Joining us now is a man that would never judge Mike Greenberg for the way he eats.
No.
Straight out of Compton, a champion as a JUCO coach, a Netflix superstar, and a man who drops by every week to give us college bets that we can definitely know will hit. A man on the inside. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach JB.
Yeah! What up? You hear me?
Yeah, you sound good. It's great to see you again, too, after last week's complete shit show. I apologize for that. We've missed you over here.
Who'd you fire around that motherfucker?
Well, yeah, that's the interesting thing is...
come on.
Yeah, you're taking it... Zito would have had to fire somebody because this is in Zito's lane, and I never seen a guy sweat so much but make magic happen. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Zito lost some weight, man. He was talking to me quite a bit through the whole thing. It was a good conversation.
Zito did lose some weight through that whole thing. How are you doing, man? How's life over there?
Man, I'm hanging in there, man. Fucking what a night, man. Fucking Bailey over here. Emergency surgery. Lost most of her pups.
Oh, no.
So 2 of them lived. And now, if you don't know anything about the C-section portion of these dogs, they act like, so they don't know the dogs. So now she's like, won't feed them. I got to put a muzzle on her because she's fucking growling it at them. And
oh, no. So you're in the middle of it right now.
Huh?
You're in the middle of it right now, huh? With a new litter.
Right in front of me. I'm just making sure. So I got a muzzle on her while they feed. So,
jeez.
yeah.
Well, if anything pops off, please feel free to go on and
they're within arm's reach. So I might disappear, but you can still hear me like motherfuck them or something.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, listen, you got to do what you got to do. And we obviously, sorry to hear what happened with the babies. Hope everything's okay with the puppies and the mom. Let's move along this weekend. What is the college football game, JB? What is the game of the weekend? I literally know nothing about this upcoming schedule for college football, aside from the fact that Cincinnati got screwed by the College Football Playoff Committee.
We'll agree to disagree on that one.
Ah!
You know, I'm sure. I assume you've been pretty busy, man. How about breaking news with Aaron, man? That's good. That's big time shit, man. I bet you Stephen A. and everybody's pissed at you. Hey, man, fuck them, man. You got to do what you got to do, brother. That's great shit. I applaud you guys.
Thank you, JB.
You know, there's some shit games and there's some decent ones. There's not really a great slate. I got my picks of the week. I locked in Penn State last week. They won, so I'm 1 for 1.
Let's go.
Yeah. My pick of the week this week, though, is Wake Forest. They're 8-0. How the fuck are they -2.5 against the North Carolina, or a +2.5? North Carolina's -2.5 versus Wake. I got Wake Forest covering, obviously, and winning the game. So I think that's my lock of the week.
Oh, it's underdog. That's a super.
Yeah, Wake's the underdog versus a 4-4 North Carolina team. I don't know how Vegas does it. I mean, I can see the upset, maybe, possibly.
I don't know how these fuckers do it. I don't know how they put that out there.
Man, they got to have some inside shit going. Bailey. Kentucky versus Tennessee. Tennessee's -1. I got Kentucky winning that one.
Okay, Kentucky.
And the best game of the week, in my opinion, is Auburn and A&M. Auburn A&M's the best game of the week. A&M's -4.5. I got Auburn covering that, or possibly winning it. So I got them covering, though. And the big one of the week is Alabama favorite over LSU by 28.5. I got LSU covering.
Okay. LSU will keep it within 5 scores. LSU will keep it within 5 scores against Alabama. Isn't that a sad state of affairs?
Yeah.
Nuts.
That's not
good. I don't know
good.
about Alabama covering that 28.5 versus LSU leaving Odron. Like we'll know real quick how they feel about Ed. They're gonna be like, "Fuck you, Ed. We're gonna get blown out," or "We love you. We're gonna play hard."
And my big question here is, with Ed out for whatever. I mean, I saw some photos. He was in a pool and
having the time of his life.
Yeah, he's been living or whatever. And I guess he has had success as a coach. He's going to go live his life, whatever the case is. Isn't Nick Saban just saying to every single recruit that is potentially trying to decide between Death Valley and Alabama, hey, we are 5-score favorites over that team. Yeah. If you sign with that team, is that not something?
Shit, I would use it. I don't know if he is, but I sure would. Let me get this dog. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Hey, we appreciate you, JB. We appreciate you for those picks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll text him in a bit, see if we can call back. JB, appreciate you. He's going through absolute battle over there. We got his picks. He has been hot. So he likes Auburn -4.5 at A&M. Kentucky +1. Also Wake plus, and he likes them both to win. He's got 2 underdogs winning outright. You can alternate spread that or pick the money line, and it'd be great. And then LSU will keep it within 28.5. Shout out to Coach JB, man. I'm sorry he's going through that. My dog just got out of surgery and got home yesterday, so my wife has been, because last night I was at the game and then I had a little bit of daddy duty for a little bit of time, but she's been kicking ass. It is no fun whenever you see your dog all sad and out and down and sick. It is. I couldn't even imagine what it's like for whenever you have a human pet, you know?
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine what it's like.
So has JB been breeding these dogs for a while?
I think he has had like a pit bull. I think so. I think he has for a while. I'm not 100% sure. Seems like that's a lot. I don't know how you would. I get too emotionally invested. I mean, I get too emotionally invested. I guess you would.
Then to like sell the puppies, that would be tough.
Yeah. Well, and how about the mom's like, nah, because you know, it was a C-section as opposed to the natural way or whatever, and they had to do that probably because of what happened to you. I mean, that is wild.
Wow.
Hey, we appreciate you, JB.
Thank you, JB.
Okay, let's hit a couple more phone calls. Oh, we got to do our entire slate pick. Here we go. This is it.
Here we go.
We have to do this.
Here we go.
Hey, AJ.
Go, baby.
Last week you won 10-5. What? 10-5.
What?
10-5 somehow whenever the entire world flipped upside down in the NFL slate. Backup quarterbacks came in and broke records. There was teams losing that we could have never imagined except for one man. A.J. Hawk found a heater and decided to smoke that thing yet again. Early in the season, he was hot. Then he got cold. Now he's red hot on fire. And although the same game parlay did not hit last night, I believe it's pretty apparent I did pick the Colts -10.5.
That's right. I mean, you never officially said it, but yeah, we'll give it to you.
Yeah, he did.
Check the tapes. Check the tapes. We will. I'll give it to you. You're right. Hey, first off, either way, you were going to take whatever won because they should have covered. The tip pick at the end, let's get real. That's a joke. That's a joke. You saw mad Josh Johnson. Like, come on now. So you were just going to take whatever happened. So
yeah.
I understand. I would have done the same thing. So you're 1-0 this week.
Okay. All right. Good. Because definitely, if they don't cover.
I knew that's the first thing I thought of when we hung up yesterday. I'm like, oh, he never gave a pick. So he's going to be 1-0 no matter what.
Yeah, bingo. Yeah, because if the Jets cover there, Josh Johnson throws for 300. I go, well, I moved it down to 5.5.
For a reason.
Yeah, I mean, for a reason, you know. But that didn't happen. The Colts won. Team that I always. Always.
Tried and true.
Yeah, so I'm 1-0, dude. 1-0. But that doesn't matter, okay? You being 0-1, me being 1-0 means absolutely nothing because what have you done for me lately? What will you do on Sunday is all that matters on Overreaction Monday. Let's get to the slate, shall we? Texans, Dolphins, Texans. Getting 5.5 points going down to hot Miami. Your thoughts? Tyrod Taylor is back in action for the Texans. A.J. Hawk, your thoughts with Tua, B-Flow, Chris Greer, the Dolphins in disarray, and the Texans coming to 10.
I would definitely have gone with the Dolphins here, but with Tyrod coming back, I like Tyrod, what he can do. Texans +5.5.
Bingo. Give me the Texans as well with Tyrod. He owes me push-ups. Mm-hmm. So maybe he'll do those in the game this weekend. But also Laramie Tunsil.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Is he still on the Texans?
Oh, yeah.
Laramie Tunsil has come out and said, I think I'm the best tackle in the game. But I never get the credit because of what happened on draft day where a video was released of him hitting a gas mask. Okay? A gas mask is a fighter pilot mask that has a steamroller attached to the end of it, where you light vitamins, you inhale vitamins, you take the steamroller out. Now, within the fight, he did not take I think he actually had a bong on the end.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think he had an actual bong. The actual thing is a steamroller, which is, kind of standard operation. He went next step up their bong, but I don't think he ever cleared it. So, I mean, there is a full conversation to be had. Whatever the case is, he had a fighter pilot mask on. Trapped in there was just vitamin smoke. It is a direct shot to the moon. Okay, I've been around a couple gas masks in my day. I feel like I have a pretty good sense of what is strong vitamins, what is not. The gas mask will send you to Pluto. Okay, it will happen. It is quite an experience. You got to strap it up, though. I mean, you got to go in there. He did that. And he says that because that video came out on draft night, all right, we didn't have to put that. I mean, he's literally good finds. That was the particular mask that he hit with the bong in the bottom and the whole thing, which is...
You're describing so well.
By the way, a bong and a gas mask is hilarious. I mean, that's your two best plays coming right back to back. And he said that because of that, he has been judged improperly as not being the best tackle in the game. And I would like to let him know and set the record straight that on that particular evening when I saw that video, and he did not cough one time, okay? And I'd heard about how athletic he was, how powerful he was. But then when I witnessed his cardio fortitude of being able to handle a bong gas mask with no cough at all, I texted Chuck Pagano and said, this guy might be the most in-shape person that has ever come through the world. He might have the strongest lungs on earth. And I know potentially PR-wise, you're going to have to deal with this for the next couple hours maybe. But I need to let you know via my scouting of Laramie Tunsil, and I didn't see him run a 40 or anything like that. I've only seen one video. Via my scouting of Laramie Tunsil, he's going to be a guy. That is a guy you would like to have around. If he can handle that and not cough or anything, sign him up. Turns out, I probably was right. I should probably do more scouting, and maybe we should add something to the combine where you have everybody strap it up to a bong gas mask to test the cardiovascularness of everybody.
I mean, I think you might be onto something here. You really he showed amazing lung capacity right there too.
Amazing.
That's what was most impressive.
Yeah, and it seemed like he was comfortable doing it too. He kind of knew the ins and outs. It seemed like he knew the ins and outs.
Yeah. I mean, that's equal to. Is that the same as a video of him underwater for 5 minutes, holding his breath like Chris Angel?
I would say probably bonging. So like bonging a beer. I think like bonging maybe like a 6-pack. Yeah. That'd be a similar video.
Yeah.
But yes, you're talking about cardio-wise, lung-wise. Him holding his breath underwater for maybe 6 minutes or something like that would be a great comparison, I think, to his lungs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we're both saying Houston plus 5.5.
Hard.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, especially because Miami shipped them out of town.
Oh, that's right. Revenge game.
Revenge game. Let's go to the Broncos and the Cowboys. 9.5 points are the Cowboys favored by at home. Your thoughts?
Why does the spread have to be so big? I mean, I'm taking Cowboys here at minus 9.5. I don't like these big spreads.
Hey, Cowboys ride on Broncos.
Hell yeah.
Especially this weekend. They're some of the best team to ever saddle a horse right now, too, down there in Dallas. And I think those Cowboys will ride and cover the 9.5, especially with Dak all the way back. Shout out to TVG Mike. Patriots. I told you we're going to be able to work it in there. Wait till you see what I do tonight on SmackDown. I'm going to get that thing. I'm going to get that thing in there somehow. There's some times where I will be about to speak, by the way. I stop and I start laughing into the microphone almost. And Michael Cole looks at me sometimes like, is everything okay? And I'm like, well, you should have heard what was about to get tied together. What was about to get tied together there. I don't know if it would have made sense. Patriots, Panthers. Revenge game here, Stephon Gilmore. They're getting 3.5 at home. This is also a Lombardi Bowl.
Oh, it is? Okay. I unfortunately, I'm going to have to stay here with Connor. I'm going Patriots minus 3.5.
Me too. Bill Belichick.
Yeah, it's not you. You're not on the team, Connor.
He was kind of, though. Last night he wore the Mac Jones jersey into a Colts-Jets game.
Damn right.
I mean, that was aggressive. And he, by the way, a lot of, you know.
Oh, Connor is that guy.
Yeah.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah, Bill Belichick, though, is just going to say, Stephon, I taught him everything. Let's just not throw towards him.
Yeah.
Wherever Stephon is, just Mac, lock it in. We're not So I got the Patriots as well. This is kind of boring. We're on the same page, although I am already undefeated on the weekend and you are not. Vikings, Ravens.
Oh, okay, here we go. I think we could change up here. I got Vikings plus 6.
All right, I got Ravens minus 6. Give me Browns, Bengals plus 2.5, minus 2.5 for the Bengals at home.
Oh, man. Do the Browns rally without Odell? I'm taking Bengals minus 2.5.
Give me the Brownies.
All right, okay.
I love Joey Burrow, but Baker Mayfield has been taking A lot of shots.
Yeah.
Steve Smith last night on NFL Network, the channel that is owned by the NFL. So they are naturally having to speak in a certain way about things. Steve Smith says, "Give me which is this my camera? Is this my camera here? Is this my Hey, right here." Hey, Baker, this motherfucker's leaving because you stink, dude. That was all.
Unreal.
I mean, obviously, Baker's not going to like it, and I think Baker has the ability to win a lot of games, but just the fact that Steve Smith, who has a resume that can say that, said that last night, is the epitome of what it's like to be Baker Mayfield right now. I don't think he cowers away from those types of situations. I think he potentially is looking for those situations every week, maybe. And this is one that is very apparent. But Joe Burrow could potentially have a lot of shit to prove as well. I'm going to take Baker in the team just because there's so much shit happening in Cleveland. Let's go to the next game. Let's go to the Bills, Jags, 14.5.
I learned my lesson betting on the Jags. I'm going to take Bills here, minus 14.5.
Yeah, give me the Bills. Unless they got a team trip to the Pine House, I got the Bills. And even though the Bills did look like they came out of Urban Meyer's Pine House to start that game against the Dolphins, fresh out of the bye week, looked like they were coming out. Little wobbly finger guns. Then they turn that thing up. Falcons, Saints 6.5 for the Saints at home. Starting Trevor Siemian, Matt Ryan 6.5. Wow, hilarious.
I think I've taken the Falcons every week this year, and I think I haven't won with them yet this year, but this is my week. I'm due Falcons plus 6.5.
Give me the Falcons as well.
Come on, man, take the Saints.
All right, I'll take the Saints minus 6.5.
Oh yeah.
I'm only doing that because literally as you were saying, come on and yelling at me, my brain was doing the same thing because I wanted the Colts. It's at 6 now, I guess. It's not 6.5. I wanted the Colts so bad last night because I thought with the film on Mike White, maybe they'd be able to expose him and everything like that. But Mike White started out red hot. And we have no idea if he would have been a good quarterback in week 2 or not. We have no idea how he would have done. Honestly, we have no clue. Now, that LaFleur offense should feel a lot better than how it looked against Zach Wilson because now Mike White, Josh Johnson, and the offense as a whole has had a lot of success against a couple really good teams these last couple weeks. They've lost because they stink inevitably, but they have had success. So maybe Simeon will be good. Maybe Simeon will be able to just pick right up where Drew Brees potentially left this offense before Jameis Winston, and maybe he'll be able to make some big-time plays.
Taysom Hill also available, so he might be able to slide in a couple times.
And Sean Payton said he's the next Steve Young, but, I mean, his actions have kind of followed up and said that Sean Payton doesn't necessarily view it that way, but we shall see. I got the Saints. Cool, I'll take the Saints. Let's go to the next game. Raiders, Giants. Raiders, right? We're both here?
Yeah, Raiders minus 3.5.
Henry Ruggs. Terrible, sad situation that is happening around that. That team seems to probably be rallying around that. That is incredibly emotional for everybody involved over there. Obviously, incredibly sorry about the 2 dogs and the person that passed away. That is terrible. Can't be making those types of decisions. But Henry Ruggs, also one of their teammates for a long time, one of their friends for a long time. He made a couple terrible decisions in a back-to-back time that changed the course of everybody's life over there. That could potentially rally a team. Not 100% sure, but I like the Raiders as well. Next game, Chargers-Eagles.
Man, only 1.5 here? Are you surprised by that?
Yeah, give me the fucking Chargers, and we just walk right on to the next one, right?
Yeah. Chargers, yep.
Yeah, Packers-Chiefs, 7.5.
Ooh, buddy.
Jordan Love.
Chiefs minus 7.5.
Give me the Packers plus 7.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right, give me the Cardinals, Niners. By the way, I think Chiefs win. Let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
I think Chiefs win. But 7.5, I think Jordan Love will be able to do. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Devontae Adams is back.
Oh, yeah.
Chiefs stink.
Is the draft playing? Left tackle draft?
I don't know.
I haven't heard that.
I doubt it.
I think he is back.
Oh, breaking?
Okay, is that breaking news? I'm not sure.
No, I don't know. I assumed he was back because didn't Aaron say last week he's very, 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 very close? That's what I took from it.
Yeah, okay, so maybe he's back. It hasn't been news. Who knows? We'll find that out. But I like the Packers.
Well, it's been overshadowed, obviously. But yeah.
Yeah, and also here's another situation where everybody is killing their guy. And if you do recall, I think everybody in the locker room likes Aaron, and the coaches like Aaron. Aaron's relationship with players and coaches have never kind of think about that potentially. Or it could be a
Well, they've always known, so like Aaron said today.
Yeah, give me the Packers. All right, here we go. Cardinals, Niners. Ooh, this is a great one. Give me the Cardinals plus 2.
Kyler and D-Hop.
Yeah.
Give me the Niners minus 2.
Wait, is Kyler out?
and D-Hop
The
allegedly.
line has flipped because of that news, potentially.
So this is not. That's why the Cardinals.
That's the current line, yes. But it opened as Cardinals minus the 2.
Okay, so give me the Niners.
Yeah, I'll have to take the Niners too.
Even though the Cardinals had a loss on Thursday night, it's a long time ago. If Kyler and D-Hop are out, though, that's a completely different team. What do they even do? I don't even know what they do.
Who's their
Colt
backup
McCoy.
quarterback? Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Colt's a stud.
Colt can sling it.
Hey, he can sling it, but I don't think he can run around humans like Kyler can.
I mean,
Extend
nobody.
plays.
Kyler's the only guy on the planet that can do what he does.
George Kittle back for the Niners.
So you would have to hope that Colt McCoy and AJ Green get going, because AJ Green has a lot to do. After how that last game ended. I mean, AJ Green.
I think he's out as well.
Oh, fuck. Give me the Niners. Let's move along. I don't even know why we're talking about it anymore. Titans-Rams, Sunday night, last game of the week with 4 teams on bye here on this Week 9. Titans-Ram is going to be an absolute slobber knocker. AJ, you like the Titans +7 in L.A.
I would, but you know what? This is Vaughn's debut, correct? For the Rams, he's going to be playing?
Yeah.
Think so.
And Derrick Henry's at?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm going to have to take the Rams here.
Bingo. All right, we just made the entire Sunday week slate. We'll be back on Overreaction Monday to overreact to everything we just talked about. I think AJ will remain hot. I think maybe I'll swim to some wins.
Undefeated. Undefeated this week.
Here it is.
Undefeated.
Here it is.
Already 1-0.
Yep, you're due.
Same game parlay is dead. Did you hear this? Risk-free.
It's dead for good?
Yeah. Immediately. We had a
Until
moment of
next
silence.
week, maybe, or why?
No.
That's how we're going to workshop something.
No, we have to workshop. We have to come up with something different. This is
it cursed or something?
Don't worry.
It seems like it. It might be cursed, but it also brings me down every Thursday night. You know what I mean? It makes me feel terrible about myself. We don't win money for people. It's become something that the NFL season is not for me. You know what I mean? The NFL season is celebration for me. And the risk-free same-game parlay, although if they opt in, they get their $10 back, and you could have won like 140, 150, and 106 more yards, 7 more yards last night.
I got a pretty good idea
110.
for it when we'll talk about it.
Okay, so we'll brainstorm. So I just want to, what we need to do is, it was a great run.
Yeah.
But I am not too prideful to stare something down that has brought me immense pain and say, hey, you're fucking hot. I will do it, no matter what it is. So that risk-free same-game parlay had a run. And although it won't be talked about now as a good run because ultimately they all lost, okay? But I think history will tell us whenever we have a much more educated gambling society, and they look back on some of our plus 1200s and plus styles and how close we were to those hitting. I think history will say, pretty good run, you guys got close.
Yeah, pretty damn good.
But ultimately, not a single fucking winner, so we have to shut it down. Have to.
I get it. That's big of you, I think, to look at it and know that you have to figure something out. Also, I wanted to quickly hit before you end the video you posted of Evie getting eaten by the mascot. For some reason, I watched by myself. I was laughing out loud. Your guys' reaction. I was wondering, what are all the boxes and all the other people sitting around you doing? That was like a minute long.
People were just staring at us the entire time. I think I was on camera the entire time. I mean, there was a lot going on. Those seats were amazing. Shout out to Robert Mathis and the Gridiron Gang for he just said, hey, you need them.
Those suites like in the end zone, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
So Seattle, I think Seattle's the first team I saw that had that. I remember they have awesome suites right there in the end zone.
It was amazing. Dallas Cowboys, no, maybe Seattle before Dallas.
Vegas. Cowboys have them down on the sideline.
Vegas is new. Vegas is new. I think everybody's going to start doing it in the new ones, but Dallas had those ones. Remember, Dallas was right behind the side. There's literally people standing on the sideline with you on like a platform walking around. They're just watching on Jumbotron like you are. Last night was interesting because we got to watch some, and then everybody immediately watching and go straight to the Jumbotron to see the TV copy of it. And then you watch This Is Us. Zito has some iPhone shots in that cinematic mode that are just like straight. This is from Zito's iPhone.
I felt like it was a video game, like how close. Like
it was unbelievable, dude. That's why whenever Pittman, he ended up 6 yards short, all right? But there was a catch he had on a little slant. I was staring.
It's always there.
It's always there. Pick him up and
put him down.
Is what he didn't do. He got tripped up right here. Boom. I thought he was going to get. From my view, I saw him and Bader. Literally, and I was right behind him standing. And that would have put Carson Wentz over the 225. And it also would have put him over, which would have means the same game parlay would have hit. The Colts would have covered. We would have been able to leave about an hour and a half earlier than we did. We would have had, it would have been a celebration. We would have won bananas. But as soon as I saw that happen, and then there was the next series, Carson rolled to his left. He's a big son of a bitch, by the way.
Huge.
Carson is huge. With pads, he is a lumbering human around there. He rolls to his left, right, literally. I might have made eye contact with Carson Wentz. I'm sitting on the field. And he throws 2 wide receivers, one of them being Pittman. I forget who the other
Pascal.
lands in between both of them, incompletion. I'm like, this is doomed. This is doomed if that's not going to hit. And then the game, the way it went, with a face mask extending the drive so that Carson can't get the ball back on 3rd and long, and then they have a 7-minute drive. The Jets matriculate down the fucking field. Josh Johnson, we're just sitting there looking at the clock, looking at the game, looking at the clock, looking at the game. This thing, we got no fucking chance they're going to throw the ball ever again.
Bullshit.
Yep. And that's why I said it's over. I'm not doing it anymore. I can't do it. This was a fun night. These are great seats. Colts won. And here I am literally walking out of here like damn near miserable because we didn't get a chance to hit one. And I'm like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Can't do it.
Can't do it anymore.
I get it. That's why I don't gamble because I don't like. I can't bet on a team I want to lose, though.
Listen, it's not about the gambling of it. Gambling, especially, you should never gamble enough money that'll make you leave your tax bracket that you're in. Okay? So you should, have a little self-awareness of what you do. And by the way, I think just like any other thing that could potentially have outliers that mistreat and abuse and do that, there is that happens, and we should look out for those people. And there's so many regulators in the sportsbook world now that try to stop that before you can even get to that whole thing. But whenever you have a little money on a game, it's cool. When you're potentially going to take like fucking $10 million from FanDuel and there's a team of 40,000 people around, like that is just a different level of, oh my, we could have done something epic here and we did it.
Big responsibility you feel, huh?
Well, yeah, and then all the people that come dancing on my fucking graves. All right, get out of here, dude.
Nah, don't worry about that.
Oh, I want to fade the same game parlay. Well, you would have lost, you'd lose. If you knew gambling, you would lose if you faded the same game parlay. Because to do that, you would have to bet the opposite on every single one. And I'm hitting.
You got 4 of them.
I'm hitting at a high rate.
Yeah.
So it's over. It's dead. It's gone. See you later. It was a good run. I can't thank everybody enough for joining us. There was a 45,000 at one point, I think, on there. We will think of something new.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we will win. And we will hit. And we will take all the money that this place has.
Hell yeah.
All right? Because remember, they didn't own us. Although they are an exclusive sports book, we are still gambling and still trying to take all their fucking money.
Damn right.
That's a show. It was a Feel Good Friday, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
Kind of feel good now. I got to get to a plane. It was delayed. Hopefully this one has all of its technical issues taken care of.
It will. It will.
I got on a plane one time and they couldn't get the wheels in. You know what I mean?
That's tough.
That's not good.
You need to be able to do that.
And then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, we're not going to be able to continue this flight because we can't get the wheels up or whatever. And they said, I'm like, okay. But they had already pushed the button to go in. So I wondered, like, once we hit the little bit of weight there.
Are they going
to
collapse?
There was a little bit of anxiety on that thing. I was like, well, I'm going to lift my feet up.
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean? I'm going to lift. Fuck it. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, or Monday. See you tonight on SmackDown if you want to watch. 8 o'clock, Fox. We should have a good show, I think. I have no idea what's happening. Hopefully I'll be able to get there. Obviously, that's the goal. In Evansville, Indiana. The crowd will be electric. The crowd will be alive. Just like our Twitter mentions have been since Aaron stopped by. Shout out to Ariel, JB, Aaron Rodgers, JJ Redick. Remember that happened today?
Yeah. Wild.
Hey, he's awesome.
I didn't get to see it. I'm going to go back and watch. I've liked JJ forever.
Watch it. You'll love it. Yes. In the conversation, actually, as soon as the conversation ended, I looked at the boys and I said, he's pretty good.
Yeah, unreal.
He was awesome. He's a guy I'd like to be friends with, I think, if I could be, but it seemed like that is something that probably will not happen. But he said he'd come back on whenever.
Here we go.
That's good news. All right, I'm out of here. AJ, thank you for your work this week. All the boys, thank you for all your efforts. Everybody that watched online, can't thank you enough. Use hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday. We're going to give away, I don't know, what did we get up to? 70 what?
6.
Okay, so I don't know if we can give away $76,000.
That's a lot of money. 7,600.
This is the biggest day the Daily Show's ever had.
No.
The draft was $137,000, but that was the draft spectacular. It wasn't the Daily Show.
Okay.
Fair.
So we have to celebrate it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll give away $50,000. Yeah, use hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday. Go ahead and tweet a picture of wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, and 5 people will win $10,000. Okay.
Wow. Damn.
Should they tag ivermectin or hashtag it?
Don't do that, obviously. Don't do that. But
No.
we appreciate you all so much for rocking with us. We might never be seen on YouTube again. I have no idea what's real.
that's not that. Yeah, it's a possibility.
I have no idea. So if you want to use Hashtag Big PMS Feel Good Friday. Go ahead and tweet out wherever the hell you are. We'll scan through there. The only reason why we do it on Twitter and nowhere else is because Twitter makes it so easy to search. They just kind of give you the whole thing and you can go through all of it. We'll randomly select 5 people to win $10,000 in this $50,000 Feel Good Friday. We appreciate you all so much for joining us on this, incredibly dumb life that I get to live. And I'm so thankful for everybody that is joining us. You're the best. Cheers. We'll see you over Reaction Monday.